Good evening, welcome to Fantastic Dimensions. This is the second part of our fourth investigation in the Hudson Brand campaign, Night of the Jackals, Part 2. So, where we left off, it was just passing from Friday night to Saturday morning. It had been a rather pretty eventful night for all of you in different ways. So, what time does everybody wake up in the morning at Hudson and Brand? So, let's go with Ruben. What time does Ruben usually get up in the morning?
If he doesn't have a particular mission to get to, I would say at dawn.
Okay. Early. No problem. What about yourself, Wilhelm?
Probably it was a late night. Once he gets his 8 hours, so probably around 8:30 in the morning.
Okay. I think, yeah, okay, cool. 8:30 a.m., no problem. And how about yourself, Oscar Bennett?
I usually wake up around dawn.
Dawn, okay.
Unless I had like a late show the night before, then I would sleep in, but I haven't had that this month.
And Mr. Bonham?
Probably around 8.
Around 8, okay. Now, another quick question. I can't remember. Did Oscar spend the night at the agency, or did he end up going home after the wild events of the previous night?
It was a late night, so he did not go home last
You
night.
stayed in one of the guest rooms. Okay, cool. So
Yes.
the four of you are all at the agency. Okay. So the two who said they wake up at dawn, that'd be Oscar and Ruben, are the only two who are awake, probably having an early breakfast. When the bell rings, and Markham will go to answer the door. Let me see, do I have, hold on a second here, let's put this on to our, there we go, 33 golden square. Just double check real quick, do I have an image for this particular character? I do not. Okay, that's fine. So Markham lets in a man dressed in an inspector's uniform. He is about average height, well-built, clean-shaven. His clothes are well-worn, but serviceable. I suppose, yeah, he doesn't really have much of a uniform, does he, as an inspector? Scotland Yard, he's kind of more plain clothes in a sense. But, yeah, he has the obvious bulge of a revolver in his coat pocket. And Markham will come to you, Ruben, and Oscar, and say, Inspector Harrison Craddock of Scotland Yard is here to speak with you, sir. Will I wake Master Zorn?
No need at this point. Let's see what he needs first. Please, bring him in.
He is in the parlor, sir.
Well, he will go and introduce himself.
Mr. Carmichael, yes, I understand you are one of the owners of this this office.
Yes, I am, sir. How may I be of assistance?
And, Mr. Bennett, didn't expect to see you here. I'm
Good morning,
familiar
Inspector.
with your work.
Oh, wonderful. There'll be a new show coming out in November.
My mother will be delighted. She's a huge fan.
Oh, wonderful.
Well, I'm sorry to disturb you so early. However, it's a very pressing matter. I have been assigned to investigate the murder of Major John Gower last night. Not too far from here, actually, near his, in between his own estate and the Royal Army and Navy Club. I believe that there were a couple of people from the Hudson Brand agency who appeared at the scene of the crime after it had taken place, and spoke to another inspector there before I had arrived. Was it by chance yourself? The only names I received, actually, I can't remember the name. What was the name of your father, Matt?
I gave him the name Antonio Benotti.
Right. So the names I was given were an Antonio Benotti and a Gerard Bonham.
Gerard Bonham.
Ah, yes, that was me, Inspector. I used my father's name. I didn't want to cause a ruckus.
He quirks an eyebrow. Oh, okay. So, I guess my question for you is, what brought you to the scene of the crime, Mr. Bennett, and what did you learn? Or have you learned anything else?
Unfortunately, I haven't learned much at all. We had been out of character. This was the guy that they had met with at the club, right?
The one who was murdered last night, yes.
Okay. And it was the boy who called to say, hey, something's happened to one of the people from the club. Okay.
Yeah, the boy, it was one of the little birds who came, Albie, who came to inform Hudson Brand right away that, oh, there's been a murder not far from the Army-Navy Club. I think it might be one of your military men.
Okay, so, well, Inspector, we had received word that a possible acquaintance of Mr. Hudson and Brand may have been involved in the murder, so I decided to go and take a look to see what had happened, and we came upon that gruesome sight of that poor gentleman impaled on that gate. I'd never seen anything like that before.
Yes, it is rather suspicious.
Indeed. One doesn't just trip and fall onto a gate 5 feet taller than they are.
Well, the gate was about 7 feet high, but yes, indeed, it would have to be a very large individual to impale a man. So,
indeed. Unfortunately, I had not ever seen that gentleman before, so I couldn't say whether or not it was Mr. Brand and Hudson, or is it? It's no, Mr. Van Zorn, Mr. Van Zorn, or is your character's name Hudson? Oh, it's Brand. Carmichael Brand. But you go by Carmichael.
Correct.
Okay, so I couldn't say whether it was Mr. Van Zorn or Mr. Carmichael's acquaintance. And after a brief conversation with the inspector there, and I do apologize for giving a false name, but really wouldn't have been able to offer much to him anyways. We decided to head back to the offices here and await the return of our acquaintances.
Indeed. I believe your partner, Mr. Van Zorn, was at the Army-Navy Club last night speaking to the Major before his murder.
Interesting.
Is he at home, perchance?
He is. He's still sleeping. Would you like me to secure him?
Yes, if you wouldn't mind. I would like to talk. It'd probably be much better just to talk all together.
While he rouses, do you want some breakfast, perhaps?
Yes, I have some coffee and a scone if you have any.
Very well then. If Markham's handy, I'll send him up, and if not, then I will take care of it. Yeah,
Markham's nearby. He'll see to getting the inspector some coffee and a scone, and the inspector will seat himself on the nice comfy chair in the parlor. Mrs. Levi is not here. She's only here on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays.
I gotcha. Very good. Very good. So fine. Is it a fine morning? How was the fog? Was it pretty thick coming in?
It's pretty thick fog, yes, indeed. Typical.
Good. Consistency is key.
So you're going to wake up Van Zorn?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. What about Bonham? Are you going to wake him up too, or are you going to let him sleep?
We might as well rouse everyone, give them the idea that we have company.
Okay.
Von Zorn, we have a police officer interested in your whereabouts. He'd like to speak with you.
Oh, really? Which one?
Truthfully, I've forgotten his name. It is fairly early, and
Oh,
You'll find out momentarily.
well, let me throw my coat on, and I'll be down there momentarily.
Very good.
Ruben, is there
Yes?
anything I should know before I go down there?
The price of tea is stable, and there is a fog.
Well, I guess we're still in London then. All right, I'll be down there in 1 minute.
Very good.
I get my overcoat on and my slippers and head down.
Okay, no problem. And you wake Bonham up as well to get him to go down. And so we'll fast forward a little bit the time, just so everybody's up and downstairs as the inspector is finishing his coffee and scone.
Okay.
Well, they're all off running around that. I'm going to pass the inspector one of my calling card and write a little thing on the note on the back. Say, please pass this to your mother. And next time she comes for a show, have her show this at the ticket booth, and we'll see that she gets a much better seat.
Oh, very well. I appreciate that.
Anything for her? And
when I get down there, do I recognize the inspector?
No, you've never seen this man before.
I said, good morning, Inspector. My name is Willem van Zorn. I am one of the owners of this establishment. How may I help you?
Good morning, Ms. Van Zorn. My name is Inspector Harrison Craddock. I am investigating the murder of Major John Gower. I believe you were speaking with the Major last night.
I look legitimately surprised. The Major is dead? How?
Yes.
How?
He was impaled upon an iron wrought fence, a 7-foot tall iron wrought fence.
Was there any witnesses?
There are none at the moment. At least none to the crime itself.
My God. We were performing an investigation of a few of his military companions, and I had went to the Army Navy club just to ask a few questions. When I left, he was in good health. Where did this murder take place, and when?
It took place not far from his estate, apparently, as he was walking home from the Army Navy Club last night.
My God. What about, Ian, I forgot the guy's name, but Van Zorn wouldn't have forgot, but I forgot the private's name that was tending bar. What was his name?
Oh, and you mean the dog's body? The guy who just works. He doesn't really tend bar. He does a lot of it. He takes out the trash and does all the shit work. Toby Norton, I think it is.
What about private Toby Martin? Is he okay? Was there anyone?
Martin. I'm not familiar with this man. He's writing it down on his list. He's like, "Who is that, please?" Who is Toby Martin?
Yes, he was also a member of the Major's unit in Afghanistan.
The Sudan. Yes, they were in Afghanistan before, weren't they?
Yes.
Yes, I see it here, he says, tapping on his notepad. No, we've not spoken to Toby. Toby Norton, I think, is the man you're speaking of. We've not yet spoken to him.
I was worried that he may be in danger too. But I have to ask, why have you come here, Professor?
Well,
I mean, Inspector. I'm sorry.
It very quickly in my investigation, it became known to me that you had spoken with the Major. In fact, you were one of the last people to have been seen with him alive at the Army Navy Club, Mr. Van Zorn.
Yes.
You and your Alan Pace.
Yes.
And also another gentleman by the name of Stanley Hopkins, I believe.
Yes, Inspector Hopkins.
A junior inspector with my own agency.
Yes. He had come. He was consulting with us.
Yes. I will be speaking with him soon.
Yes. I can tell you, the only thing I spoke to the Major was about the deaths of the Sergeant Major. and the accidental deaths of the other sergeant, who's I would give him the name, but Joe again doesn't remember because it's been 2 weeks. And we spoke to him about that, and we was trying to see if there was anything linking these two deaths together, and I had come to the conclusion there wasn't actually. I did warn the major that he should be on the lookout just in case, and it seemed that he didn't take heed my warning.
Indeed. Yes, Sergeant Major Crouch, I believe, the man who was strangled in Dover, you were referring to, yes?
Yes, exactly.
Yes, I believe that these two deaths are related.
Yeah, we traveled to Dover at the bequest of our client to see if there was anything unusual about the
Who is your client, he says?
Our client is one of the military men.
See how it feels, Joe? Don't you love it when somebody asks you a question you don't know the answer to? Alan Pace, I see. Right.
Right. So that was our
Why are you working for Mr. Pace? How did you come to be on this case?
Well, there was some concern. Two military men of the same unit dying within the same week of suspicious circumstances.
I see.
And we, to be honest, up to this moment, I thought maybe it was just simply a coincidence because we didn't find anything.
Orland Reynolds is the other one, the train station. Yes, I'm not so sure that is has anything to do with my case here. Yes, but I'm aware of it.
But we came under the same conclusion that it was possibly just a weird coincidence. But now that the major's dead, is there anything else I can help you with, Inspector?
No, I think that's you've answered all of my questions for now. Oh, I suppose you could tell me where were you last night when this murder occurred, Mr. Von Zorn?
We were doing some research.
Doing some research where?
I believe in Soho.
You believe? Well, Mr. Hopkins is at Scotland Yard currently. I will talk to him and see if he corroborates that.
You got to understand, Inspector, I'm a foreigner, and London streets and names are difficult to pronounce and confusing. Unlike Longwasserfoot or the Monk.
What about yourself, Mr. Carmichael? Where were you at that hour?
Out of context, out of the game, I'm trying to remember. I don't think he was anywhere. I think he was back at the. Oh no, he was dealing with no.
Yeah, you went to see the crime. You went to see the crime boss. You didn't tell anybody though.
I was out searching for exotic teas, my friend. It's something of a passion. I got a little bit lost in time, but I was down in the quote Chinatown district. And,
Limehouse.
Yes, you are familiar.
It's a very very dangerous part of London, Mr. Carmichael.
It is, but it also holds some treasures if you are willing to take the risks. I do love a good tea.
Indeed. I understand your last client went missing. Is that correct?
I do not believe he's missing at all, sir. I believe they had received letters to say that he was traveling with a young lady friend.
Yes,
and that he would be returning for his schooling.
Which he has failed to do.
That is.
Were you aware of that?
I was not. We were only hired to further along the report of the murder of his uncle.
Indeed.
And which we did, and to his satisfaction. And then he met the young lady, and then we came back.
And who did it?
We weren't able to determine who did it. We just gathered information, and to his satisfaction. And to be truthful, the young lady was a welcome distraction because there was very little to do there. The local constable was less than forthcoming. The people were very secretive and tight-lipped. It was difficult to get much information out of them at all. Basically, he met somebody on the road. Apparently, was a highwayman of some sort, and then animals got to him before he was found.
Okay, let's see. And what can you tell me about the Heligoland Company warehouse in Limehouse?
I actually perk up a little bit.
I do believe it's available for sale. Last I heard, the company went under locally. We were looking at some property for some mercantile, and that came up, but we weren't interested in that particular building.
I look at Ruben kind of strangely.
Well, he accepts the strange look.
I don't say anything.
Well, I don't think any of those things have any relation to this particular case. Just a matter of curiosity. I would call it more than inspector's curiosity.
Well, I would expect the inspector to have nothing but curiosity.
Inspector, may I ask a favor?
Yes. You may ask.
Of course, and we completely understand that this is Scotland Yard's case, and we do not want to be any bother here, even though we are private investigators. Is it possible that we may have a look at the bodies, since it is part of our investigation too, and may ask a few questions around the club without it disturbing your investigation at all?
Of course. Of course, you have your own investigation. I would ask you, however, that if you find any kind of relevant information, that you share it with me immediately. He hands you a business card.
And we swap, and I look back at Ruben a little bit, then looked at the inspector. I promise you, I personally would tell you everything that I find out. I wish to work completely and honestly with Scotland Yard.
We would never withhold any pertinent information, ever.
Of course. Oh, one more thing. What do you know about a gentleman by the name of Loyal Gibbs? He's putting on his coat, preparing to leave.
Loyal Gibbs is known to this part of London. He's impossible to miss. He's a huge man.
Yes.
He's
something of a circus attraction, I understand.
He's on our list. He's on our list of possible what we call associate investigators.
Yes.
I personally have never met the man.
Yes, he had worked with your predecessors, I believe. Yes.
Yes.
I do believe his main source of income is as a procurer of cadavers for the university for medical study.
Yes,
he's a bit of a gravedigger.
I have men looking for him right now. Very tall, very strong man.
Yes, he is unmistakably huge.
That's what we've been told, and that's what I've been told.
Perhaps just about the right size to impale a man on a 7-foot-high iron wrought fence.
Well,
certainly, he would be large enough to do so, but he is your typical gentle giant. He's just a large man that goes about living his life quietly.
But moreover than that, Professor, we did investigate that idea when the sergeant major was said the sergeant major died by the hand of a large man that might fit the description of Mr. Law. Unfortunately, this was, and I am sorry, what town was this in again?
Dover.
This was in Dover, and the only way to get there and back would have been through a train. And someone Mr. Law's size, it's very obvious traveling in public, and no one saw him. No one saw anyone to the description matching.
And we did follow up on him because he is such an unusual individual.
Yes,
and his whereabouts were secured during that event, so it could not have been him.
And while I won't go as far as vouching for him, I would say our investigation had excluded him as a suspect because he simply, there's no way he could have traveled to Dover and back without someone noticing it.
Very well.
Excuse me, Inspector. Does this gentleman that you're referring to, I've not met him yet. Do you know that he has any aliases by the name of Abandon or Abaddon?
Abaddon?
Yes.
No, that not that I'm aware of. Although I do understand.
When I was at the scene.
Yes.
I was one of the members who was at the scene of the death after it had happened, when the Scotland Yard was there, and
I look surprised. I look at you. You were.
The victim said Abaddon, and he said other things also, but he mentioned that name in particular. And it was a very tall man, but he did mention that name, Abaddon. So
it's a very strange name.
Yes, I was just wondering if this gentleman that I have yet to meet here that's associated with this agency does he have any aliases that you know of under Abaddon?
Not that I'm aware of, although I will certainly investigate this line of query.
I trust the agency to not have hired anybody that would be a outright murderer of especially military men of the country.
Loyal is neither malignant nor vicious. He's just a large, strong man that if we ever need any heavy lifting, that's who I would go to. I mean, he's seriously just a large horse of a man. He's a very calm, gentle individual.
And obviously there's more information here than we've been. Perhaps we need to have a conference to gather all our information, as we are finding more and more out about this situation as by the moment.
But if you will excuse me for a moment, I will check on the new scones, and I'll be right back.
Inspector, you did say we would be allowed to examine the body, correct?
Yes, I can make that available to you if you need to see it.
Well, myself and a doctor of medicine will make ourselves available at the morgue today.
Very well. Whoa, Merrick. Woo.
Sorry, I thought.
Yeah.
Was that your character, or you?
I think he thought his mic was muted.
I thought I had muted myself. Sorry. I missed a click.
Yeah. So. Anyway, yes, just please wait until at least midday. I should be able to have it available for you by then.
Inspector, we appreciate your help on this matter. And of course, as I said before, any information we have pertinent to this case, we will make sure that you are aware.
That is the least I would expect. Good day, Mr. Von Zorn, Mr. Carmichael, gentlemen.
I offer my hand, and
he gives you a firm handshake.
Mm-hmm. Okay. When he leaves, I turn to everyone. Perhaps we should have a meeting.
Indeed.
So, what happened last night?
Oh, well, you and Reuben were out. Gerard and I happened to get a visit by one of Reuben's little birds talking about there's been a murder. So we hopped on over to take a look, and there was a man stuck on a fence like he was being spit roast. And we happened to overhear him mention the name Abaddon.
Abaddon.
Was it Abaddon or Abaddon? Abaddon. Something like that.
Kind of hard to tell with it was like his death throes, but might have been Abaddon,
something like that.
Hard to guess the spelling just based off of what you heard.
What was interesting, not to interrupt my fellow colleague here, but what was interesting was that he said, "It's alive. He's alive." Something along those lines, as if he did not expect that name to be alive. Maybe it was a statue, maybe something else that he had seen previously.
Give me an idea roll, Rob.
Okay, give me a second.
I want to see, because you're trying to really think back on this. I want to see if you can remember the exact words he said. The idea is just your intelligence, basically.
It's going to take me just a minute because I got to get the dice loader.
Okay, I can roll for you. What is your intelligence?
Okay, let me bring up my character sheet. Sorry, it's just a little thing going on here. Let's see. My intelligence is 55.
Okay. You remember, actually, now you're saying it out loud. You're like, well, no, it wasn't. He didn't say he was alive. He said Abaddon, but it was real. Alive.
Oh, there you go. Okay.
So, did anyone know? Does anybody know what this Abaddon is?
I've never heard the term before.
Ruben?
I know he was the top. He was the top man because
Ruben returns from the kitchen. Is the inspector still there?
No. He was trying to leave.
Yeah, I figured he was. I was trying to give him a way out.
Took him a little bit longer to leave than he expected, but he got out eventually.
Ruben, do you know what this Abaddon is?
No, I do not. Here, one second. I'm going to do an occult roll. I got a 35, and he's got like an 80.
Okay, no, it doesn't ring any bells, though.
No, there are many names that are familiar sounding.
I mean, yeah, there's like a story of a fallen angel, was it, or something that was named Abaddon?
Yeah, exactly. I said in various cultures there are names that are similar to it, but not in particular as far as anything local.
Yeah, that was a Hebrew name for an angel, also known, I think, as the Lord or King of Locusts.
We may have to visit Mrs. Murrow and ask her if she could look that name up in one of her books. Ruben, I know where Oscar and Gerard was last night. Where were you?
I was in Chinatown, like I said.
Care to share?
I was delving information of a personal nature. Apparently, there's a contract of sorts on my head, and I was trying to get some information about it.
Is it something we need to be concerned about?
Well, not any more than anything else. I'm sure there are plenty of people looking for your head as well. It's just I happened to get information that somebody was, so I was trying to gain a little more information through the darker circles.
Okay. Well, myself and the young inspector staked out the colonel's residence last night, and well, it was boring. We found absolutely nothing. And actually, before I found out the Major's been murdered, I was going to simply say this may have been all a wild goose chase, simply an unfortunate coincidence. But obviously, this isn't the case. Thinking about it, I believe whatever is killing these men of the unit of the Toughs, right? Ian is.
Take me a moment to get to the mute button. Hold on.
Okay.
The first buffs, they were called.
Buffs. Yes, whoever's killing the men of the first buffs. I'm taking a guess here, but it seems they're going up the rank structure. They took out a sergeant. I mean, they took out a private, then they took out a sergeant major. Now they took out the major. And if this pattern continues, the only logical next victim will be the colonel.
Interesting. Yeah, I believe that is a logical train of thinking.
Yes. Well, first we got to find out what Abaddon is. I think that's a big clue. We need to find out. We need to get contact with the colonel, and at least at very minimum, tell him his life is in danger and inspect him, and then inspect the body of the major. Maybe it'll hold some clues.
Very good. Yeah.
Anyone else? Ideas?
just to fill you in a little bit more on when we were there at the site of the murder, the gentleman was still alive, even though he was impaled. I hollered loudly where he could hear it if he had any senses at all left through the pain. I hollered, "The tall man." And to my eyes, he looked startled and his eyes grew bigger and was trying to say something but couldn't say a whole lot at that point in time.
Ruben, you know Mr. Laurel, right?
I am familiar with Loyal. I had one occasion to meet with him and work with him, dealing with the cadaver.
Perhaps it's time. Perhaps it's time to bring him in, if nothing else, to question him. But it looks like we have a very large, very strong opponent, and we may could use some muscle.
I hope you didn't think I was trying to cast suspicion upon your the other investigator. I was trying to do just the opposite by letting the inspector know that the name Abaddon was used by the victim, and I know that the other investigator does not go by the alias, but I wanted to bring that to the mind of the inspector. That's why I brought it up.
No, Gerard. I mean, your reasoning was sound. I mean, we have a very strong, very tall suspect, and Mr. Laurel is very tall and very strong.
Yeah, anyone with a lick of sense is going to assume that it's Loyal because he's the only one that's of that size. So while I do agree we need to contact him and bring him into the fold, I don't necessarily think we need to do it out in the light of day at the moment because it's going to be pitchforks and torches, I believe, at first.
Well, you know how to get in contact with him, don't you?
Oh, yes.
Then maybe
the little birds know where he is.
Perhaps this is something you would be better suited to do than myself, or definitely Mr. Bennett. Definitely than Mr. Bennett.
My boy met the man.
Yeah, definitely going to get in touch. I'm going to call in. It was the order of the day to have the kid stop by every day to see if there was work available.
Yeah, sure.
And someone needs to talk to the colonel today as soon as possible. And visit him at his estate. Anyone wants to and advise him of what's going on and question him and perhaps try to get him under our protection. Anyone want to take that one?
I think maybe, and I'm a younger man, but I think maybe somebody of your military background may be the best one to get through to him, or another gentleman such as our magician friend here, possibly.
And I do believe we have a member of Scotland Yard that is occasionally on board. Wink, wink.
Oh, yes.
Well, I would be more than glad.
Who is not presently here.
Correct.
Oh,
I know.
Right. But Scotland Yard has given us their okay. The inspector told us he wouldn't mind us taking a look at it. So at least we have that. And I would like someone to take our neighbor doctor to the morgue and just examine the body. I was going to do that, but I can talk to the colonel.
Well, I'm going to be searching for Loyal, and I was going to suggest that we could use the birds en masse to run a 24-hour, well, within reason. I'm sure they must know some of the kids that are orphans, and we can employ them to keep an eye on the estate, watch out for the colonel, see if anybody's going to assault him, and if he leaves, to follow him.
That sounds like a good idea.
So that's what we're going to do. I'm going to call together the birds, and as many as I can, and once I get them, I'm gonna have them tell me where Loyal is, and then also about if anyone want to volunteer to watch the colonel.
And Oscar, what do you think?
Well, I'm happy to accompany wherever you think I might be best suited.
Well, I could use some company going to see the colonel.
Absolutely.
Gerard?
You just tell me what you want me to do, sir. That's fine.
Is there any way I can get you to talk to the doctor next door and have you and him accompany go to the morgue and see if you can find any clues on the dead major?
Yeah, that's fine.
And perhaps if you have time, find out where the major lived and go to his domicile and see if you can gain entrance and find any clues there.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
I appreciate it. I think we have a good game plan. Gentlemen, we're dealing with a very dangerous suspect here, someone extremely strong, extremely powerful. I suggest from this point forward, we do not go anywhere except in pairs and armed.
Oh my, you think it's that dangerous?
We have 3 dead bodies here. So 3 dead military men. People who are used to danger and can usually handle themselves. Compared to our opponent, they were ragdolls. I mean, someone who could throw a man on a spiked fence 6 or 7 feet in the air is no one to be trifled with.
Would have had to have been more than 7 feet in the air since he was impaled on it, and it was 7 feet in the air. So yeah.
Yeah. So
more like 8 foot in the air.
Oscar, do you have a weapon?
I do indeed. I tap my cane.
Good. I'll have our coachman place the shotguns in the coach just in case. Gentlemen, I suggest we meet back here at 4 o'clock.
Very good.
And just to be on the safe side, if you're not back here by 4 o'clock or left some sort of message, we'll assume that you are in danger. Is that clear? Are we good with that plan? Bjorn?
This is all so exciting. Is it like this all the time for you?
Unfortunately, yes.
Yes, indeed.
My.
Good luck, gentlemen.
Good luck.
Markham leans over to you, Oscar, and says, "That's not entirely true, sir. This is the first real case in 6 months."
No.
Oh, he said it so only Oscar could hear him.
I like that. I know the doctor that I'm supposed to be accompanying.
Yeah, you've probably met him. He operates next door to the agency. His name is Doctor what? It says it here somewhere. Dr. McKenzie.
Yes.
Dr. McKenzie.
And let the doctor know.
He's a laryngologist. I'm sorry, was it?
And let the doctor know.
Nose and throat, whatever.
Is the magician going off on another expedition, or do I have access to him?
He's coming with me.
I was going to go with, with Ruben, or
Zorn.
Yeah, they were going to go to Kandahar Estate. Who was with Carmichael?
I think he's alone at the moment.
Is he? Is that right? Yeah, I guess he is.
Is Rob going with him maybe instead?
She's going nowhere except in pairs. You're on your own, Ruben. Nothing fun. So I was trying to get you killed.
I wanted the magician to do a quick sleight of hand, something clever to entice the young man that shows up, so that he could pass word along that they could get tickets to the show and maybe a dress rehearsal sort of thing, something to really entice them more than the food and the coins that I throw at them. Something
that is a brilliant idea.
Something extra.
A gaggle of children.
These are better than children. These they're familiar with the street. They see everything every day. They know who comes and goes, and they are our eyes and ears on the street.
I see it already. 10 boys stuffed into a crate, and what comes out but 10 beautiful women. Ah.
I'm sorry, sir. We don't do that here.
Oh, get your mind out of the gutter.
They can't help it. He's pressured.
We don't do that to our birds here.
Okay, so Loyal. You were saying, I believe, that you had dinner with your brother last night and spent the night at his house?
Sorry, me?
Yes.
Yes, I did.
Okay, so that's where you'd be in the morning when the police are looking for you.
Well, yes, but I didn't, because my brother didn't hear about this until first thing in the morning, unless he's in works in a different area. I probably left early in the morning so I wouldn't be seen.
Okay, before the sun came up?
Yes, but I didn't go back to my place unless you want that to.
Well, where did you go?
Yeah, since they haven't found me, that's what I'm saying. I could have gone back to my place afterwards, or unless someone has some odd jobs they need done. I don't know if I've done work with for Markham before.
Oh yeah, you've done work with Hudson Brand, the previous owners.
Yeah, I mean, if Markham needed anything picked up, large supplies or something.
Yeah, no, not on this particular day. I mean, no. So after you left your brother's place, you would have probably gone back to your flop house so you could sleep during the day?
Because I didn't work last night. I slept in the evening at my brother's.
Mm-hmm.
So you know what? I'm just going to pick up an odd job that I usually do. Just anything like moving something, probably.
Okay, cool. Like probably down by the docks.
Yeah, that works.
Especially at that early in the morning and stuff. Yeah.
I'm not following my normal routine that I usually do at night. Then I sleep in the day. It's like an off day.
Sure. What is your luck score?
My luck?
Mm-hmm.
A 2.
Where would I find luck?
Have you not? Maybe we may not have recorded it. I don't know. It'd be on your character sheet near hit points and sanity and all that stuff.
I don't have it listed.
Roll 3d6, please. And tell me what you roll.
6, 11.
11, so you have 55 luck. You can mark that now. So as you're loading things onto a boat there at the docks, in Limehouse, as it were, you get approached by a couple of nervous constables. Pardon me, sir, are you Loyal Gibbs?
I am.
Of course he's Loyal Gibbs. Look at the size of him. We have to ask you to come with us, sir. Inspector Craddock wants to interview you.
I just nod and I put down I'm guessing maybe a large crate or something down, and I'll
yeah, like a big, huge, full crate that weighs like 300 pounds. So yeah, they will take you then to a station. Actually, yeah, with it. Oh, geez, yeah. Let's see. They probably need. Did they have those big carriages for prisoner transports back then? I'm sure they did. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I'm trying to think of what else they could put you into, but
I just saw something recently with those in there. Yeah.
Yeah. So they'll ask you to ride along in one of those.
Yeah, I guess that's the only one really in there. It might be fine.
Yeah. Right. Let's see here.
If it gets stuck, at least I'm there to help them unstuck the carriage.
True. So you'll leave there, and they'll take you to they'll take you to a station over here. It's not too far actually from where you are. It's on the other side of the river, but they're kind of near the Metropolitan Police Station. There's a past the Houses of Parliament. There's also a Scotland Yard office, I will say there, where they'll take you and ask you to wait in a room until Inspector Craddock can arrive to ask you a few questions.
I'm pretty sure they're not going to be handcuffing me or something. Right?
No. You're not under arrest.
No.
I want to ask you some questions.
Yeah.
They don't
Now,
have cattle restraints with them.
so this.
What's your psychology? Do you have a psychology skill? Any
No.
points in it? We'll roll it anyway. What's the base on it? It's probably 1% or 5%. I don't know. For base.
Psychology is 10.
10%. Okay, give me a roll.
Oh, 14. Oh, just a good number, but not enough.
You can use 4 points of your luck to knock it into the 10 range.
I wouldn't bother. It's not really worth it. Not worth it. It's not that important. Okay. Yep. So they wait outside.
So you said this is Scotland Yard?
Yeah, it's a Scotland Yard office.
Now, yeah, based on what I told you, they may or may not know enough of. Like I said, I don't.
How about your brother?
Yeah, I don't. It's not well known, but maybe people who he works with might know, higher ups. But I don't know if Scotland Yard.
These guys probably haven't a clue.
Yeah.
But,
Okay.
no worries. Eventually, Inspector Craddock will arrive. Same gentleman who was at the Hudson Brand agency. This point in time, it'll be like probably 8:30, almost 9 o'clock in the morning. But yeah, he's like I said, average height, well built, clean shaven, well worn clothes, big bulgy revolver in his coat pocket. He'll come in and he'll go around to the other side of the desk and sit down and set down his notepad and look over at you and say, "Mr. Gibbs, I'm Inspector Craddock. Thank you for coming in this morning."
Loyal remains silent and just nods.
I was wondering if you could tell me where you were last night around 9 o'clock in the evening, Mr. Gibbs.
Was having dinner at my brother's.
Your brother. Yes, your brother. That, let me see here. Commander Abel Gibbs with the London Police, correct?
Yes.
Very well. What did you have?
Roast beef and mashed potatoes. I don't know what if that would have been a.
Sure, it's fine.
Yeah.
Did your brother cook?
No, his wife did.
I see. Your sister-in-law. What is her name?
Mary.
And of course, they would be able to confirm your whereabouts, that you were with them last night.
Yes. Why? Something happened last night?
Yes. There was a murder. A retired major from the First Buffs.
I don't usually show up until after the murders.
I'm sorry?
I usually work as
yes, cadaver collector, Royal College of Surgeons. Yes, of course. Sorry, you took me a little off guard with that statement. I see. Yes, there was a man who was lifted over 7 feet up into the air and then slammed down onto an iron spiked fence. It was a ghastly affair. It would require a very large man with extreme strength.
I suppose I could do it if I wanted, but that was not me.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, and he calls to the one of the deputies, or whatever, outside. Tells him to go swing by Abel Gibbs' house or apartment, whatever. Gives him an address. Says, just see if you can get him to confirm that his brother was having dinner with him last night. Was with him at from the time of whatever, say 8:30 p.m. Onward, and if he says anything different, then please bring him back here. And so the guy takes off. Says, well, it shouldn't take too long then for this whole thing to be cleared up, Mr. Gibbs. And if your brother does indeed confirm your alibi, then you'll be free to go. I do hope you hold no grudges for the situation. You understand, of course, there aren't very many men of your stature, even here in London.
Loyal just shrugs and says, we each do our part in our jobs.
You have done work from time to time for the Hudson Brand Inquiry Agency, is that correct?
I have.
Yes, I see you were associated with Colonel Hudson. And do you know the new owners that have taken over the place, Reuben Carmichael or Wilhelm von Zorn?
I have not had the pleasure of meeting them yet.
I see. Okay. Well, they are aware of you anyway, and I'm sure you'll probably be hearing from them soon as well. They're also investigating this series of murders.
Well, I'm here. I'm available if anyone needs help. If you need help, or if they do.
You ever been to Dover, Mr. Gibbs?
Sorry, I didn't.
Have you ever been to Dover?
And how far is Dover from London?
It's a couple hours on the train.
No, I have not. What, was there another murder there?
In fact, there was only a couple of days ago. A few days ago, whatever. A man was strangled to death. So strongly that the bones in his neck were crushed.
I must admit, again, that entirely possible for me to do, but you would not have brought me here if you did not think so.
Very well. So he kind of keeps you there for a little while, and probably not quite an hour later, the guy will come back and confirm that Commander Gibbs has confirmed his brother was with him all night last night, and only left in the early hours of this morning. They say, well, very good. Thank you for your time, Loyal, and I wish you good fortune. Be safe. There is a killer on the loose. But then again, I suppose there's never a time in London when there isn't probably at least half a dozen killers on the loose.
Yes, I've seen their handiwork.
Well, I suppose it keeps you in business, sir. Good day.
Loyal nods and walks out, ducking under the doorway.
Yeah. So by the time you get out of there, it's probably just after like 10 a.m. So before 10 a.m., the rest of you from the agency, somebody had a place to go. Is anybody going to be anywhere in particular before 10 a.m.?
I'm going to, and if Oscar is willing, we're going to get the carriage ready, and we're going to go out to the Colonel's estate as soon as we can. Like I said, putting the shotguns in the carriage, carrying my usual...
You guys probably get out there about 9 a.m.
Yeah, carrying my usual, oh hell, there's bad stuff out there gear.
Reuben did want my help with the little birds, so before we would head out.
Right. At least one of them, the main one, shows up.
How many show up?
Usually just one, but there might be more.
Yeah. Okay, so we'll say you guys will get to the Colonel's house about half 9 then.
Okay.
But yeah, so Albie will show up probably around 8:30.
Okay. How many of? Oh. Okay, so it's just him.
Albie. Yeah, Albie's my regular. He's the first one.
Okay.
Yeah, he's the one in charge.
He's
So
the rooster.
I'm gonna ask Albie if he's got a penny on him.
Yes, sir. Pulls one out.
See it for you. Take it out and like hold it up between my finger, then roll it across the back of my hands, and then roll it back and hand it back a £1 coin. Look at that.
Wow, I have many more pennies, sir. And he pulls out a handful of pennies. Can you do that with all of them?
Very possibly. But Ruben
he's only a handful of like 15 pennies.
Albie, this gentleman is a professional magician.
Wow.
He is going to provide you a show in the very near future for all the birds to have a private viewing of his performance.
I've never been to one of those shows. They're very expensive. I can't usually, someone of my station can't usually afford to attend such a thing.
That's why we're gonna have a special showing just for you and your family.
Thank you, sir.
In the meantime, here's your normal. He gives him his bag of provisions to hand out to the boys, and a few extra coins. And we're looking for a Loyal Gibbs. Have you all been keeping track of Loyal by any chance?
Oh yeah, Loyal Gibbs. He was taken into the Scotland Yard offices over there near the Metropolitan Police Station. He was taken in there this morning. Saw him being brought in. There's some inspector apparently wanted to talk to him. We didn't give much more detail than that.
Very good. One of
probably something to do with that murder last night. Yeah,
I suspect so. Yeah, hopefully he doesn't get blamed for it. There's a gentleman, a retired colonel. He's got a nice estate, and apparently somebody means him some harm, and we wanted to keep an eye on him. He's a potential client. We'd like to gather the troops, and the ones that don't have homes to go to at night, we'd like to have them watch them at night, and the rest of them watch them during the day, so we can just keep track of who comes in and out, and looking for.
Sure. Where is his estate, sir?
Yeah, he's going to give him a little map of where to go.
Oh, it's pretty far. It says, yeah, I suppose I could get some of the boys on it. Yeah, I think I know a few that might be able to do it, but well, it's gonna cost a little money to get them out there and all, I guess. But
well, of course, and he's gonna forward him the money that he needs plus his typical
too far to walk to Hampstead.
Right, I got you.
If you look at the map too, you can see Hampstead is kind of shown there at the very far kind of northwest corner.
Yeah, that is pretty far. But that might be a bad idea then. Well, I'll tell you what, if any of the boys know other boys that are in the area, maybe we can get a chain going on and extend our reach a bit. Get you into a real job, my friend. We'll link all these neighborhoods together. Keep an eye on the city, make it a safer place for everyone.
And I've got a few ideas brewing for a future show, and I may need your help and maybe some of the lads as well.
In magic.
A little bit of stage work. Possibly. We'll see. Depends on how good of a job you all do.
All right. Well, just Albie, just get back to me if we have any contacts over that way. We can. If not, then just the normal routine. Just keep your eyes open for us.
Okay, sir. No problem.
He's still going to give him the extra coins plus his percentage on the side.
Cool.
And this one, he holds up the pound coin. This one's for your mother.
Yes, sir. You're too kind. She loved the gin, sir.
Very good. Let me know if she, wink, needs any more gin.
She always needs more gin, sir.
Well,
he smiles.
I'll be sure to put the gin in the basket, and he's going to go get the gin and send him on his way.
All
now,
right.
let me get the name. I want to get the name correct. Rob is
playing Gerard Bottom. Yeah.
Gerard. Yeah. Did Gerard get assigned anything? Is he going with me? Is he staying here? What's he doing?
Supposed to do
Yeah, Gerard is supposed to go with the doctor out to inspect the corpse around midday.
I wanted to find out, is the doctor on a retainer with us, or do I need to pay him? Or
No. The doctor, he's a friend of the agency. His office is right next door. He's done a lot of work for you guys. He basically is on retainer in a sense.
Okay, so if Ruben is not assigned anybody else, he's gonna He's going to secure his package wrapped in silk and then wrapped in white paper, white rice paper, as is Tibetan tradition. And he's going to head down to Limehouse area. He's going to go back to the same tea house that he went to before.
Oh my God! Ruben was trying to get Gerard to go back down to Chinatown. No.
Yeah, and to meet Namdak again.
Oh, no.
That's his name. No.
That's how he got his name. No. Anyway,
no.
All right, I go and catch the carriage with Rube or Wilhelm, and we go off and do our thing. Well, you guys have your fun.
You guys will head off towards Hampstead. Yep, no problem.
So who would be the closest one to deal with? Is the Limehouse closer?
I'm
looking
compared to where?
To where we currently are.
You're currently in Soho. Limehouse, if I recall correctly, is kind of like right along the river there around the Lambeth area, I believe. Somebody from London is probably watching this.
Lambeth, right there. Okay, I got you. Okay, well, when he gets to the tea house, he's going to assume that everything is watched there, and he's going to leave his package out in the open, and he's just going to order some tea.
Whoa.
His wrapped package in the open. And he's going to just get some tea and assume that they will come to him.
Okay, no problem. Okay. So, Rob, you and the laryngologist aren't going out there until midday. So we will go first to Wilhelm and Oscar.
Yeah.
Heading back out to... here we go. I can take Hollingsworth off there for the moment. So there you go. Back out to Kandahar House. Pardon me. English is hard. Kandahar House. There you go. This is your first time out there, Oscar, to this place, right? So
it is.
Oscar,
yes.
I believe our goal should be to obviously find out what the Colonel knows, but we've got to find a way to convince him if we don't find anything strange, we've got to find a way to convince him that he's probably next on this killer's list and see if we can offer our protection to him.
I understand. I'll see what we can do.
Yes. These military types tend to be stubborn, just to let you know.
So there you go. It's on several acres of land there, surrounded by an 8-foot high brick wall, single gate out front.
Well, my old mentor was quite a stubborn asshole as well. I've plenty of experience dealing with men of that type.
Good. Is the gate locked?
It's morning time now. No. In fact, I think the gate might even be open.
Well, I asked the carriage driver to, could you take us up to the house? Carriage
Yep.
House.
Yep, so he will. It opens up onto a circular drive. The house basically in the center of the enclosed estate, as it were. Let's see here. Yeah. So he'll pull up around. And let me just check here. Arriving at the house. Yeah, let me just try and find something here about the map of the house. Yes, do. Okay, where's the entrance? There. Okay, yep, yeah, okay. Just want to make sure the entrance is on the south side of the house there, as it were. Just to make sure it is. So you pulls up out front. You approach the door.
Indeed.
Yes.
Okay. So if you ring the bell, then you will be met at the door by a tall, gray-haired, bespectacled man in butler's livery.
Hand him my calling card.
Also hand him the investigation. I mean, a Hudson Brand card. And
What's your credit rating, Joseph?
my credit rating? 55.
Okay, there's a 65 right back. Yep.
Yes.
Very good, gentlemen. Please come in here. You may wait in the parlor.
Indeed.
Let
Thank
me
you.
see here. Do I have?
Hand him my hat and cane.
I have a map of the house, don't I? Somewhere here.
Oscar,
Yeah.
Oscar, I think you should do the majority of talking since you are his countryman.
Well,
I can drop that into the Facebook chat too.
It's a very poorly kept secret, but I'm actually from New York.
Well, you're closer. I don't know. You sound closer than I am.
At least English is your native language.
Indeed.
Yeah, some people have an impression that we Prussians tend to be, I don't know, stiff, tough or something like that.
I certainly hope there's no spoilers on that map. I forgot to double check, but I think it's okay.
Well, it says something about Monster Room. I don't get it.
Right. Yeah.
Torture, sex dungeon. Yeah, that's all normal stuff.
Yeah.
So there you go. There's the map. Obviously, you will be on the ground floor. The parlor is just, he takes you around the hall there and over to the parlor, just to the left.
Give him
Now,
my coat and hat and gloves.
Well, I say the Colonel's done well for himself, wouldn't you?
Indeed, indeed. Well,
so it's it is an impressive 3-story house. The front entryway is open to the first floor or second floor if you're American. There's a wide staircase which goes up to that floor. Just inside the door, there's a closet and an open east-west hallway. To the west is the parlor, which you were taken to. Yeah, and that's where you were left to wait. And of course, Mr. You told him that you were asked to speak to the Colonel, I presume, right?
correct.
Yes. Told him we were from the Hudson Brand Investigation Agency. We're here on a matter of grave urgency about his comrades.
I see.
Yes. Yes. And while he's doing that, I'm also noticing I'm just looking around how it's decorated, any war trophies or anything like that.
Before we continue, so the major's name was what?
Yeah, please.
Major John Gower.
Gower?
Mm-hmm.
And who was the other guy, the sergeant major? Was that what
Sergeant Major Crouch. I can't remember his first name off the top of my head.
And the major, the main person, the major who just recently died.
Sergeant Major Herbert Crouch.
Right.
And the one who died before him was Orland Reynolds. He was not a major or anything.
Well, the one who just died recently, who was the major there?
That was
that was Major John Gower.
Gower. And Sergeant Major
Herbert Crouch.
Strangle.
Okay, right.
Let me just make a note here. Fence. Strangle. Suicide?
No, he jumped. He was strangled.
Well,
In his garden.
Orland Reynolds was the guy who fell onto the train tracks.
Right, and then there was one guy who got strangled in his own garden, and we have the major who has been impaled.
Indeed. Okay. I am armed with info.
Now, what is your luck, Oscar? I'm going to ask.
My luck is...
Yeah, you don't want to know.
What's your luck?
70.
Oh, nice. Yeah, cool.
Just to offset my shitty sanity.
Okay. So as you're sitting there in the parlor, the butler will return.
Oh, I'm sorry. What is this guy's name that we're coming to meet?
Colonel Nicholas Hollingsworth.
Hollingsworth.
Indeed.
And just looking around, do we see trophies or how his house is decorated? You know, it's called the Kandahar House. So I assume that he has maybe some Afghanistan.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, stuff from Afghanistan, stuff from Egypt and Sudan as well. Yeah.
What day of the week is it?
Saturday.
Saturday. Okay.
So the butler will return and say, I'm very sorry to disappoint you, gentlemen, but the colonel is not taking visitors at the moment.
Oh, what a shame.
He has kept your calling cards, however, in case he should wish to contact you.
Indeed, indeed. Well, if you could please let him know that it is most urgent that we speak with him. It does concern former comrades of his who have had a, let's say, less than, oh crap, what's the word I'm trying to say here? Who've met with
Untimely end?
usually untimely ends. And
Yes.
we wanted to speak with him regarding that, particularly in regards to his own safety in this matter.
And can you let him know that Major...
Well, the Colonel has already spoken with Inspector Craddock.
Oh, excellent. So he has been made aware of the fates of his former companions.
Yes, he's quite aware.
I see.
He's taking every precaution, I can assure you. And about that time, a woman comes in. And she is younger, very attractive. And she will say, yes, Fordyce, please, would you take care of something? She sends him on some errand and says, I will see these guests out. And he says, very well, Mrs. Hollingsworth. Madam Hollingsworth, what do we call her? Madam, probably just Madam, as you wish. And he will leave. And she will say, this way, gentlemen, I will show you to the door.
Wait, may I know who we have the pleasure of meeting?
I'm Ramona Hollingsworth, the Colonel's wife. Please walk with me.
Frau
She kind of nods.
Oh, darn.
Frau Hollingsworth, could you do us one favor, please? And I'm using charm.
Okay, give me a roll.
Which is one of my better rolls. 30, actually. Oh, I swear to God, I need to put a camera on this. I thought it was 30. It is 30, sorry. 30 out of 50.
Okay. What kind of a favor, sir?
Could you tell your husband, give your husband one word, and we would wait here until he gets his reply. And then we will leave you and not bother you until he calls us. Would you please? It could be a matter of life and death.
I suppose I was going to ask you. But what is the word?
I'm sorry, was she leading us out the front door?
She was going to walk you to the door, yes.
Oh.
Out of the estate.
Yes. Could you give him the word Abaddon?
Abaddon? What does it mean?
Your husband may know.
Very well, I will tell him. Something has been troubling him lately. I'm very worried about him.
So are we. We believe your life, as well, your husband, as well as your own lives, may be in danger.
I think it has something to do with that gentleman who's come by a couple of times, Munir Fez. I believe he's Egyptian.
Really?
Munir Fez?
Munir. I assume. I don't know how to pronounce it. Mounir.
Sounds good to me.
Do you know who he is, or where we may find him?
I do not. I only know that he's come a couple of times, and the first time he came, my husband spoke with him, and there was a lot of shouting and yelling, and Nick threw him out of the house bodily. Every time he's returned since then, Fordyce has turned him away.
Oh.
I'm worried. I'm afraid something's going on that he's not telling me.
I do worry for your safety. It is our job to keep you safe. It's our job in our agency to keep you safe. Is there anything we could do to help you?
Well, I don't know. I believe I overheard that you're members from an inquiry agency, correct?
Yes. Can you please give that to that word to your husband? And it would be perhaps very, very important that you convince him to see us. We would only take a small part of his time.
Very well.
We'll wait right here. I whispered to Oscar, we must find out who this fellow is.
So she goes, and then she returns not very long after. She goes, well, he's too busy right now to see you. However, he has kept your cards and said that he will be in touch in the near future. I don't know what that word means, Mr. Von Zorn, but it seemed to upset him terribly. I hope you've not created more problems for me.
Our apologies if we haven't disturbed the sanctity of your home any further than it already has been.
I believe that you are in grave danger, lady. This is my.
And she looks terrified.
This is our card. If this man comes back, this Egyptian fellow, can you let us know? Send a word. Send a courier or someone.
It's a long way to Soho, but I could certainly try, I suppose. Do you think this man is trouble?
That's what we must find out.
I do notice Fordyce has been keeping his shotgun close by lately.
We have resources that Scotland Yard do not.
Yes. Do you know why that inspector was here earlier?
Yes. One of your. I'm sorry.
He left shortly before you arrived.
Sorry, Oscar.
Indeed, yes. There was a unfortunate incident last night involving one of your husband's former companions. I don't.
Looks like he could be her father.
All right. I don't wish to go into too much detail because it is, forgive me, rather gruesome. And he also fears for your husband's safety as well. I can imagine any other reason why the inspector would have shown here today.
Well, I wish you luck, gentlemen, but really, you must go. If he finds out that we're still here talking, it'll be trouble for sure.
Oh, my goodness. Forgive us for overstaying our welcome. Have a wonderful day, madam. Give her a bow. A cheeky grin.
Yep. She'll walk you to the door and let you out.
All right.
Closing the door quickly behind you.
Indeed. Well, that was a rather warm reception.
That went very bad.
I believe we have an Egyptian to investigate.
Yeah, so where do we start?
Well, I can't imagine there's that many in the city, would there be?
Wait. It's... Yo.
Give me an idea roll.
I rolled a 17. That is definitely a success.
That's definitely a success, yes.
That is, in fact, a hard success.
You could check around London hotels, trying to find somebody registered under his name, since you have his name.
Right.
Munir Fez.
I think we should do that as quickly as possible.
Indeed.
Okay, well, you will be back into town proper probably in about another hour, about 11 o'clock. So as you guys are pulling away, I will move on to someone else. I'll go back to to Loyal. Loyal, where do you go after being released?
Unless I am... how long was I kept there?
It was just a little after 10 a.m. by the time you finished, so you were there a little over an hour.
Trying to think if usually how long the job's at the dock, I guess. So it's probably still there.
Well, you know, especially given the nature of some of the jobs, some of the people you do work for at the docks there, that after being picked up by the police, you probably shouldn't go back there today.
And I guess even though not really replacing me, but they probably hired someone else to finish my shift.
Yeah, exactly. At
least in that sense.
On the bright side, you can go back there another time, and you're pretty sure they'll still pay you for it. It's just that, it's probably just be kind of it's a good idea to give it a day or two before you try to go back to that particular spot, since you were picked up by the police.
Yeah, they were just coming to question me on Yeah.
Those guys don't give a shit.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Then I actually find it. This is one of my day times. What day of the week is it actually?
It is a Saturday.
Okay, that's what I thought. Yeah, not that today is one of my few days that I'm not working a night. So
Yeah. Maybe you're not terribly far from Soho. Maybe you want to pay a visit to the Hudson Brand agency since you haven't met the new owners yet, and they were mentioned to you.
I was
by
thinking
the.
that I should go and introduce myself.
Sure.
So, yeah, I'll head over there.
So you would be back over there before 11. Let's see, who's still there then? Oh, the only person there would be Gerard, I believe. So Markham will answer the door and say, "Oh, Master Gibbs. Wonderful to see you. It's been a long time, sir."
Yes, I apologize for not coming sooner to introduce myself to the new masters.
Yes, unfortunately, none of them are here at the moment. But Master Bonham is here. You can meet him. Come in, come in. Have you had breakfast? I know it's a little late.
Yes, I've had breakfast already. I've been up for hours now.
Oh, I see. A cup of tea, perhaps. Some biscuits or scones.
Sure, that would be. It's not quite lunch.
Oh,
but
I
sure.
do have some leftover strudel.
Oh, you do know how to tempt me.
Big, huge, loyal Gibbs.
Yeah.
Please come in. Have a seat. I'll fetch Master Bonham and let him know that we have company.
Loyal and Markham probably have known each other for a few years, and
yeah,
though they don't see each other a lot, but Loyal has a big smile on, especially when the strudel is mentioned.
You have a certain level of respect for Markham, not just because he's polite, of course, he's a butler, he's got to be polite, but also because you know that despite being a man of, slightly advanced years and, not having a very intimidating bearing, you know that there's been times before where he's had to pull his own, and he can. He's pretty good with a gun, and he's a bit scrappy too for an old man if he needs to be.
I think I'm not. Loyal's not that old, but he's probably known. Maybe we'll say about between 5 and 10 years. He's known him.
Let's see. How long ago was the agency formed? I think it was only formed about 8 years ago, if I recall correctly. Let me double check here.
It's only been, except for the current heads of the office.
1881, so 9 years.
And has it only been the previous two owners and the current two?
Correct.
Okay, so yeah, then he's known them probably as long as they've been in business or
sure.
Close to it.
It says early 1881, so yeah, I guess it is kind of getting close to 10 years now. Because if I recall correctly, this is the fall of 1890. Mm-hmm. Yep, it is. Yeah, it's October. Right. So, Gerard, Markham will find you wherever you happen to be, downstairs in your room or whatever, and say, Master Loyal Gibbs is paying a visit. He's upstairs in the parlor if you'd like to meet the gentle giant himself.
Yes, that would be fine. Thank you. Lead the way.
To take you upstairs to introduce you to Loyal. Loyal Gibbs, this is Gerard Bonham, a gentleman who has joined the agency recently. Loyal has done quite a bit of work over the years for the previous owners.
He gets up and he bows. It's just a small bow.
I hold out my hand to shake. I'm sure my hand's a lot smaller than his, but I'll hold it out to shake. And I've heard a lot of good things about you, Loyal, and it's nice to meet you at last.
He takes your hand. It is firm, but it is not. He doesn't squeeze hard. Like, it's a nice firm. It encompasses your hand and gives you a good shake.
And and I appreciate that since I'm a violinist. I probably realize what he's doing and appreciate that because I don't want anything to happen to my hands.
Of course, yes.
Oops, sorry, crushed it. No.
Well, yes, it's good to see you. Everybody else is drawn on some errands having to do with, I think you may know something about what we're trying to take care of now, about the death of some servicemen. There was a murder last night. And so everybody's got their little rounds to do today to try to piece things together. I myself have to leave at noon and unfortunately take a doctor to the morgue to investigate the body.
Yes, I was picked up by the police regarding some murders inquiring, but I was otherwise engaged during last night's incident.
Yeah, an inspector came by earlier today and asked us some questions concerning yourself, and everybody that was present told them, the ones that knew you anyway, that you were an upstanding citizen with the agency and you worked for it for a number of times and one of our associates. So I hope things went well with you when they did interrogate you.
Oh, no, they were just doing their job. They were quite polite.
Good, that's good to hear.
And after you guys talk for a few minutes, Mark will come back out with a tray, fresh tea, milk and sugar, and a couple plates with strudel, leftover strudel from the dinner a couple nights ago. I guess it was just the night before. So I don't know. I think the strudel was made, if I recall correctly, Thursday, and now it is Saturday. So yeah. So he sets it there for the two of you, and you can enjoy some refreshments until basically about 11 o'clock when Wilhelm and Oscar will return. This whole time, you are still sitting in that tea house, Ruben, waiting. You definitely noticed some people have eyed you. You've been noticed. Nobody's bothering you, but a lot of inquiring eyes want to know, as it were.
Okay. He has dealt with this sort of stuff before, so if he gets the idea that he's not going to be seen, then he's going to be more proactive.
Well, it's not even midday yet. You might want to wait. See? Yeah.
Very good.
Okay. Cool. No problem. Wilhelm and Oscar, when you guys get back to the house, going in, you'll see Loyal Gibbs, the largest man you've ever seen in your life, sitting there with Gerard Bunham.
Good
What
Lord.
is Loyal Gibbs? Oh, yeah. Why don't you go ahead and give a description? Sorry, Rob. I forgot. I don't think we ever really gave a physical description for anybody who's watching this. But tell everybody how big he is.
Loyal, he's 7.5 feet tall. I think he is, over 500 pounds. He is dressed not it's not dressed well, but he has a nice overcoat and a top hat. Actually, probably may not have his top hat with him because he was working. He's Andre the Giant in his prime, but a little more muscular. I'm thinking a little bit Arnold or Lou Ferrigno in their prime, muscular-wise, but on a larger,
Much larger frame. Yeah.
Yeah. He does suffer from gigantism as Andre the Giant did, so he is a little younger, and he still has his strength, and he's not hasn't affected him currently. He doesn't. He is a cadaver collector usually in the evenings. No one will bother him, so he finds corpses that the College of Medicine might require for their studies. His face, he isn't the most. Actually, he's not even anywhere near the best looking of guys. He's with his face there. You can see he has wrinkles on, like not wrinkles, but like deep, like he's well-worn face, almost older than he looks. Older than
Definitely older than he looks. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
But,
definitely looks older than he is. I mean,
yes, and
yeah.
usually he's not, despite his size, he's not usually seen a lot. He tends to go out usually at night unless he's working. But he stays usually at the docks or something where people do know him. But yeah, he's very intimidating looking, and not even by trying.
That's what that psychology role was for back at the police station. Was to see if you noticed how intimidated the the officers were. But
He doesn't notice that much because he tries to. He's a little quiet, sometimes smiling, especially if he knows the people. But he tries not to bother people, so he doesn't notice really how. He's not trying to be intimidating. He doesn't notice. He's gotten used to it, I guess.
Yeah. Eventually, the players are just that.
Good Lord, man. I assume that you're Mr. Laurel?
Yes, that's me.
My name is,
Royal Gibbs at your service. And he bows.
my name is Wilhelm van Zorn. I am one of the proprietors here. I would say I've heard about you, but seeing you in the flesh is a whole different thing.
He smiles and nods.
I assume your father and mother were quite large people, no?
No.
Really fascinating.
Well,
I don't know much about my condition, but no, my parents did not have it.
Oh, well, I assume that Ruben told you we were looking for you, no?
Yes, I've already seen the police. They came to find me this morning.
But I mean, Ruben.
Yeah. Oh,
Have you talked?
I was told by the police that you were. I think they mentioned that he talked to you today about me. Is that true? I'm trying to remember now.
So you haven't seen Ruben?
Ruben? No, I have not seen
the
Ruben.
other owner of the Hudson Brand.
No, I have not.
I wonder where he could be.
I was thinking the same thing also. Well,
I'm only here because the police mentioned you were you talked about me this morning, and I thought I'd come and say to introduce myself.
Well, Mr. Laurel, please have a seat.
He's already sitting. I am sitting.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my God. You get bigger? Yes, Mr. Laurel, I understand you worked for the previous proprietors here at Hudson Brand, Colonel Hudson and Mr. Brand.
Yes, I have. I did odd work for them.
Would you be interested in continuing your employment here?
It's always good for a change of scenery or change of pace sometimes. Sure.
Well, we may have some work for you, but first I must ask you the question. Did you kill anyone recently?
Wow.
I usually...
Sir, I'm Prussian, and we do not believe on this fiddle-faddling around.
No, I usually show up after the murders, not during or before.
That's good to know.
And I was otherwise engaged last night, so could not have been me.
I would assume not, if you had talked to the police already. Huh. I look a man in the eye, and I try to gauge what they say. You do not seem like a person who lies.
Actually, let me see if... I can't remember. Like a deception thing. I don't... Actually, I was with my brother, the former masters, knew of him, but It's not that I keep it a secret. We just I don't publicize. My brother's Constable Commander Abel Gibbs of whichever precinct, I guess.
Metropolitan Police.
The Metropolitan Police.
Well, Mr. Gibbs, do you prefer Loyal or Mr. Gibbs?
Loyal's fine.
We're Loyal. I suppose you're up to date on the case we're working on, no?
No. All I've heard from Scotland Yard that someone was killed. At least 2 people. One in
Indeed.
Dover, I believe, and someone possibly of my size and strength is a obvious suspect.
Are you familiar with anyone who's quite your size and stature? Anyone else?
Ian, would I know of anyone else in town?
That's your size? No. No. Occasionally, a circus comes by or something, you know what I mean? And there'll be another big, strong man there who might be close to your size, but you haven't met anybody your size yet.
I have not met anyone mirrors my skill and gifts.
You met a strong man at one of the circuses a couple of years ago who was only maybe 4 inches shorter than you and about 100 pounds lighter. But yeah.
Strong in quotes, I guess. No. It's all relative.
Oh. Well, where we at in the investigation now is that we believe that Colonel Hollingsworth,
indeed.
yeah, yes, he may be the next victim for this killer, but he's been typical and not very receptive.
Yes, we got quite the cold shoulder when we went to visit him today.
Yes, we do have a lead though, an Egyptian fellow.
Somewhere, Munir Fez, I believe, was the name we were given.
Yes, we were going to track down that lead, but Mr. Gibbs, Belor, I believe it is very important that we keep the colonel well, even if he doesn't believe it himself. And you may be just a man to help us to do that.
I don't know what the previous masters, what notes they kept on me. I'm not much for investigating and information, but I have a good pair of eyes and ears, and and obviously physical attributes. You can already guess.
Yes. Well, sir, and I was thinking about this on the carriage ride back. I think the colonel will need our assistance, whether he knows it or not. And my thoughts was going back tonight to his estate and perhaps staking it out a little bit more closely than we did before, and wait for our assailant to come. I really believe that the colonel is in danger tonight. And that's where you may come in, Mr. Gibbs. We could use a strong hand against whatever this killer is. This killer is very big and very strong.
Well, then I am available. I'm at your service.
Meanwhile, in a tea house in Limehouse, a shady-looking Cho-Cho character approaches you and stands next to you, Reuben, and
He will agree. Go ahead.
Says, "No nonsense, Namdak will see you. Come with me." And he turns and walks away.
He will answer in Tibetan, "I am at your service," and he'll stand up and follow him.
And on that note, let's take a bio break. 5 to 10, gentlemen.
All right.
Alrighty.
I am back physically.
I am ready as well.
I'm not ready yet. Just physically present.
Back.
Wait, was what Paul said he is back?
Jiggity jig.
Yeah, he did.
Here.
Rob is also here. Very good. The only person not physically present then at the moment is Joseph.
He's on a hunting for cake, no doubt.
Cake.
I'm back.
You guys having fun so far?
Oh yeah.
Indeed.
The game is afoot.
Said the podiatrist.
You keep saying that word. I do not think it means what you think it means.
Not another rhyme, and I mean it.
Anybody want to peanut?
That's my line. I had actually been holding on to that to say I got to come up with a rhyme. To be,
I'm sorry.
And then the one that was actually perfect. You beat me to it. I'm unmuting my mic, and then all of a sudden you beat me.
It's just reflex when I hear that.
I figure what's one thing? Maybe loyal rhymes once in a while. That would be funny.
Also, Ian, I sent you a private message.
As long as he does so with style.
Mm-hmm.
What was the reason for that? Did you expect something to be missing or something, or?
I will reply in private message.
Okay.
Oh, secret rendezvous with the dungeon master, or the whatever they call it in Cthulhu.
GM there.
The keeper of arcane lore.
Oh, fancy.
Keep in mind that Ian goes into private meetings with a bucket of lube.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to call off then.
Nonsense. The whole point of a private meeting is to not have to use the lube.
Fair enough.
Can make as much noise as necessary.
Safe words out the window.
Okay.
The safe word is flugelhorn.
Yikes. That just sounds obscene. Doesn't it?
I guess. It's just...
I saw his flugelhorn. It was just out there for everyone to see.
What a monster!
His Beagle is that. Yeah.
All right.
I went to his room and he was blowing his flugelhorn. I didn't know what to do.
I believe I'm just about ready to continue now. Let's see here. Was there something else I needed to?
John, let's see. Never mind. I was going to say someone else was blowing his flugelhorn.
Will you fuck off, please, kitty?
Their embouchure was wonderful.
He was blowing his flugelhorn, and his wife was strumming her harp.
Now, let's see here. I need to put something in place. Where is it? Ah. Cat, you are an insufferable asshole sometimes.
Well, he knows you're busy running a game now, so.
Yeah, she.
Oh, she. Like my.
It's even worse.
Whenever I'm playing, if my wife's not home, I have to put them in the bedroom, the two of them, because, well, the older one is fine. It's the younger one. She will just be constantly whining. It's whenever you go on the phone, start talking to someone, start doing something, she'll start whining. If you're quiet, she's fine.
When my wife's here, she's usually whining, unless she runs out and then she vodkas.
Okay, before I start making jokes that I will later regret for broadcasting on the channel, let us continue. Now, you, Reuben, are led to a lovely little imports shop, right? Mr. Fing's Imports from the Orient.
Of course.
Which, as I see now, it's actually written right on the screen there, is a legal fiction and front for Madame Yao's opium den in the basement. In the
Very
cellar.
good.
Which is where you will be taken. And there, you will encounter a man. Where's my, oops, that's the wrong folder. He's in this folder. Yes, this man will be there waiting for you. In the opium den downstairs. Along with the 4 bodyguards.
Have I actually run into No yet?
No. Only person who has was Gerard.
Right.
Well, and technically Stanton Renard as well, but that wasn't an in-game thing. That was more just like a kind of a hidden backstory type thing. Not even a hidden backstory, it's something we just decided kind of going along.
Okay.
So,
in his best Tibetan, he is going to say, "My name is Reuben Carmichael."
Please do not insult me by butchering my language. We will speak in English.
I deeply apologize. I was merely trying to make an effort.
Yes, I understand. For what it's worth, I find you very trying.
All right.
I understand you were looking for me, Mr. Carmichael. And his 4 bodyguards are there, who I described the last time when Gerard met him before as well. They look like that one martial artist whose name I forget again. Something Bolo.
Right.
Bolo Young, was it? Was that his name? Something like that.
Is he sitting at a table, or what's their aim?
No, he's sitting on one of these mats, and the guards are standing kind of 2 on his left, 2 on his right.
May I approach?
No, the only table, well, there's the only proper table is kind of the little desk in the other room. So what do you say you're going to do?
Mr. Namdek, may I approach?
You may sit or stand, whatever you like. But you may not approach.
What's that?
But you may not approach.
You may not approach?
That's what he said.
Okay, then I wish to present you with this.
You pull out your little package.
Yes, it's a large size package, but about the size of a head.
A shrunken head, as I recall.
Exactly. Indeed.
Mm-hmm. Right. So you unwrap the shrunken Chocho head.
No. I give it to him.
You don't unwrap it.
Wrapped in the sanctified.
One of his guards will step forward to take it from you.
And this is for Namdek.
He understands that.
I'm just saying that because I don't know if that is Namdek, but if I say it loud enough and somebody else opens it, it's an insult to Namdek.
Mm-hmm. And he brings it over to Namdek and hands it to him. It is the shrunken Chocho head that you had from before, right?
It is.
Supposedly the head of an old sorcerer or something, right?
Right. I rescued this from a museum in the United States. I'm not entirely sure why I did. I saw it. And I knew that I had to take it. I don't know if it was a voice or what. And I've been holding it, and I just know that I'm supposed to give it to the first person that it makes sense to give to, and that would be you.
I see. And that's why you were looking for me. You just wanted to give me this head.
Well, initially, being the type of person that I am, we are by our natures. I wanted to exchange it for information, but at the time, at this point,
that makes more sense.
Yes. Well, at this point, I was just going to just give it to you, and if you felt gracious enough to pass information along, then that would be fine. But either way, I'm presenting this to you as a gift.
What kind of information do you want, Mr. Carmichael?
I had heard that an acquaintance through circumstance, a Timothy Carver, was in town and perhaps was looking to seek me out for some nefarious or malignant reason. And There was a mention of a mysterious lady who I have had no contact with whatsoever. So those two individuals are who I seek information about.
I see. I don't have very much information for you, I'm afraid.
Again,
but I
was
am looking for more.
very good.
The Carver brothers were involved in something much bigger than their little warehouse in Limehouse, which I believe you had a hand in bringing down earlier this year. No, last year, wasn't it? Whenever the fuck it was. It was late last year, yeah.
Myself and some of my associates were assaulted at that, and in the resulting damage, there was some burning, yes.
Did you also have something to do with the murder of my countryman, Dag Poe?
I don't believe I personally had anything to do with Dag Poe. I did run into some of Dag Poe's creations, his servants, as they were. There was a bit of a misunderstanding, and before I could clear it up, the rest of the situation happened.
Mm-hmm. The Carver brothers, Dag Poe, who was working with them, probably Dag Poe did all of the work, really, and the Carver brothers merely exploited him. It is usually the way with my people. But they had found something very powerful, something which I desire. They had found the ability to reanimate the dead and to command them.
Interesting.
Indeed. This is something that I also would like to know.
Well, sir, then consider this as I had intended alternately. Forgive my nature at first. I just wish to open up, communication. We obviously work in different circles. I have no interest whatsoever in impugning any of your operations or your industry. And I just wish to extend this courtesy. Nothing more. An open hand.
Hmm. Do you know anything about the lady?
Nothing. I have very little. All I've heard was the lady. There was another incident dealing with a tiger, and the lady was mentioned there again with the Hidalgo company. I wish I had more. There was some mention on the street that my life was threatened, which isn't the nature of our lives. People that seek adventure find adventure. So it wasn't so much as out of fear, but more out of curiosity. I just wanted to know why.
I cannot tell you where they are currently, but as they are no friends of mine, I can tell you the ironic story, somewhat, of the lady and, well, the remaining Carver brother. What I do know about her, did you know that she had her head cut off?
I did not.
The story I've heard is that she was a prostitute who was murdered and decapitated horribly in Hampstead, I believe. She was later brought back to the world of the living through the work of the Carver brothers. As such, they became a sort of rival, as it were, later, as she, from what I understand, they did not expect, perhaps they didn't expect the experiment to work at all, but they definitely did not expect her to come back as she did. And they fled and left her behind. She found her own way, became involved with a criminal organization, which you know of, called the Greens, and has since placed herself at the head of that organization. This is, of course, an organization that is in opposition to my own, you understand. So There is no love between me and the Greens, or between myself and the lady.
I see.
The Carver brothers, being part of a completely different organization, the Heligoland Company from Prussia, were also another rival. You can see we had this little three-way war going on. I was the little man in that war for a long time, until you made things very difficult for the lady, and then made things even more difficult for Heligoland, particularly Mr. Carver, whose brother I believe you murdered.
I believe he did die in the altercation. I don't know that I had my hands were full with how would you say? And he's going to say zombie in Tibetan. Forgive my butchering.
Yes, the living dead.
Yes.
Well, I suppose I should thank you, because by disrupting the works of my two greatest rivals, you've enabled my own organization to thrive.
Well, that is good news.
The true irony here, however, is that it has driven Timothy Carver, who had essentially created the lady and given her the ability to become what she has become, has now come into her employ. If I knew where they were, I would gladly tell you, but I do not.
Well, if you hear anything, I would appreciate a bit of information, and if I hear anything, I'm happy to pass it along. To include, I have many contacts within the police department. If I hear any sort of raids or anything like that are coming your way, I'll send one of my birds to send you a note.
Your birds?
The boys, the orphans.
Ah, you employ orphans. That's smart. Yes, a desperate man or child will do anything for money, won't they?
I'm trying my best to give them a little bit more, not just not enough to get by.
Of course you are, being the honorable man that you are.
Anyway, this was for you. Did he open it yet?
Yeah, he did.
Oh, okay.
He opened it, looked at it. That's why he called it a head.
Gotcha.
When he referred to it. Very well. Well, I believe we are even.
Very good, sir. Thank you. And again, I do appreciate your time.
How is Mr. Renard doing? Have you seen him recently?
I have not, actually.
Well, if you do, it's perhaps best not to mention this little meeting. He and I have unfinished business.
Very well. The meeting never happened.
Good day, Mr. Carmichael.
I bid you a good day. And he will leave.
All right.
All right. To be completely truthful, I don't remember a Vanard. I'm scratching my head.
Renard?
Oh, Reynard.
Stanton Renard.
Oh, well, we're going to chalk that up to accent. Reynard.
Stanton Renard.
Well, I will definitely keep that in mind. Renard.
I guess he didn't connect me with the agency, or was I just too beneath him to even mention?
Pretty much, yeah. He knows you're connected to the agency. Because remember, he was asking you to try to give up Renard to him.
Gotcha.
He just didn't really have anything particular to say about you at this moment. What's he going to say? I'll tell Gerard I said hello.
Right.
I understand. I thought maybe he, thought I was just a lone character or something. I didn't.
Oh, no. He had connected you with Hudson Brand because I think he even asked you about it when you were there with him the first time. He definitely was asking you about Stanton Renard.
Renard's our little French thief, our former thief, correct?
Yeah, he works with you guys from time to time. He has helped you guys with fencing and finding, people with obscure information. He helped you to find somebody who could translate
right.
Aklo before, right?
Now, do I already know the situation between him and No, or is that between No and him?
Sorry, maybe not the Aklo. No, it was the Tibetan stuff. He had somebody to
the Tibetan, right?
Translate. That was before we realized you speak Tibetan. Apparently, I guess you spoke it but didn't read or write it at that time.
Right. I had mistakenly written down that it was Aklo, but I didn't have the mythos. So we retconned it to be Tibetan. Maybe it was a dialect he was unfamiliar with.
So, nobody accosts you on your way out. You're left alone.
He'll
you can leave Limehouse safely.
Very good. Well, he will do so. Head back. Toot sweet.
Now, back at the agency. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you guys off kind of mid-conversation, but number one, I wanted to get back to Ruben because he hadn't done anything for a while. Number two, I really wanted to get that bio break in. So, and I wanted to get Ruben in before I did that. But yes, you guys were talking about you had a lead, and I think you were also discussing about possibly having Loyal, I think, keep an eye on the Colonel, something like that. Yeah.
I think my idea was that for right now, the rest of the day, Oscar and I should track down, and if Gerard wants to come with us, track down this Egyptian guy. I'm sure we have some contacts, or try to get to Soho or something. I mean, we're in Soho. Since we have a name, and try to look it up. At Oscar said something about hotels, but tonight, and this may be my wild Prussian mentality, but I think we need to go back to.
Here comes the Zorning.
We're going to do some Zorn. I think we should do some Zorning. Go back to the Colonel's estate and do a little bit more than staking out. Let's say close surveillance. Actually get through the gates. Keep heavily survey anyone coming into the house. Keep a really good eye on the Colonel, and go from there. Also, I still want, Gerard, not Gerard. Yeah, Gerard. Still, I really would like him and the doctor to check out the body, see if we can get maybe some sort of defense against whatever is killing these men.
Okay, so also, I take it then because Michael's going to get back to the house after lunchtime.
But that's a tentative plan. So we're narco syndicate here. So
by the time that Carmichael gets back to the house, about that time, Gerard and Dr. McKenzie will be at the morgue checking up on the Major's body, and you and Oscar will be out combing the hotels. Mm-hmm. Yeah, trying to find out if Munir Fez is staying at any of them.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. And what about Loyal? He just hanging out at 33 Golden Square. He can be there when Ruben gets back. Perhaps.
I can wait. Whatever.
Unless you had something else for him to do.
Yeah, whatever Wilhelm suggests.
Well, Mr. Gibbs, you are more than welcome. The work we have for you will be late tonight. So if you want, you're more than welcome to. Markham will find you a room to rest, some food, or whatever else you need to prepare yourself. We have weapons if you need it, and whatever you feel is best.
You see him when you said about food or something. He picks up the plate with the remaining strudel and he's shoveling it into his mouth.
And I look at that was my strudel, but okay. Yes, Markham. please see to Mr. Gibbs' needs. He is to be considered an associate investigator and given run of the office.
Of course, sir.
Yes. Oscar?
Yes. Shall
You
we?
ready? Yes.
Of course.
Okay, you guys go out, start checking out the various hotels. We'll go first with with names, with Gerard and Dr. Mackenzie. You go to the morgue to see the body of Major John Gower. Yeah. So the the doctor, whoever's in charge there at the mortuary, will or whatever is the morgue will allow you in, having been given instructions to do so. Once you show your identification with Hudson Brand. Yeah, and you'll see the body. He's very dead. Mackenzie will check out his wounds, look at the reports, of course, too, but then he'll look for himself. And so, yeah, he was definitely forced down quite forcefully onto those spikes. You can see where the basically just tore through his insides and did severe damage to multiple internal organs. And he died from a combination of trauma and blood loss.
Is there any evidence that I would either see with my eyes or I could ask the doctor to look closely of indentures or bruises that were made by a hand that would have held him or lifted him?
Yeah, probably would find such marks around. Let's see, how was he lifted up exactly? Actually, around the kind of neck area and around his lower leg on his. I don't remember how he was impaled there, which way he was facing. 1 second. Oh, right, like that. So he was actually put down that way. Let's see, it would have been, actually around his left shoulder, kind of collarbone area, and his right hip. And slammed down there.
Is there any way to tell how large the hands were that made those bruises? I'm asking the doctor.
I'll roll the doctor and see what he thinks. Quite large, I would say. At least as big as that man Loyal's, maybe bigger.
Now the depth of the grip, does it seem uncommon, or would be common for somebody to have a hand that size?
Oh, very uncommon for somebody to have a hand that size.
I mean,
I've never seen a hand this big, you'd say.
Okay, but the grip, in other words, the making of the deepness of the whole of his hold on him.
Well, this is interesting. Look at these marks here. It looks like scratches. I would say that the hand which gripped this man here up by his left kind of shoulder clavicle area, I believe it had some extremely long nails on it. Yes, here too, over here by the hip. Look at this. You see this? He's showing you these scratches and stuff. In fact, they're really deep, almost like lacerations, really. You'd say extremely long nails, almost like claws, even.
Okay. Interesting.
You want my honest opinion?
Of course. Please do.
I believe your man was impaled upon that fence by an 8-foot-tall, 600-pound werewolf.
What?
Oh, that's just what the evidence indicates. I don't really believe it, of course, but I've seen strange things since coming into contact with your agency.
Oh, I understand. I wasn't doubting. I was just surprised that you had mentioned something like that, but anything is up for grabs right now.
I certainly wouldn't mention it to any of my colleagues or any of my patients, but I figured A Hudson and Brand inquiry agent would be, a safe individual to divulge such crazy crack brain theory to.
Well, definitely. I mean, definitely we are open for whatever's out there in the world that sometimes we don't know beforehand until we meet it. Now, is there any way to where these bruises are made or the marks are made to appear to be organic, or is there any indication that it may be some other substance? Maybe not a living substance, not an organic substance.
What do you mean, like the bruises themselves?
No, what caused the bruises.
There's no way to tell.
Pardon?
No way to tell. What do you mean, organic or inorganic substance? What kind of inorganic substance picks a man up and impales him on a fence?
Well, there's legends. I remember reading when I was younger a Hebrew legend of a thing they called a golem, which was made of stone or clay that was able to do the bidding of its master. Just a thought, because the way the gentleman that was impaled responded, or what he was saying was, it didn't seem like who he recognized that he previously saw as alive or as animate. And he was surprised that it was something, moving around, and that was to him alive at that point in time.
Well, you think maybe he saw this thing before then, but it wasn't alive, or at least he didn't think it was alive?
Yeah, that's exactly what I've been thinking. I haven't
like what, like a painting or a sculpture, a statue, perhaps.
Statue, possibly maybe a mummy. I mean, I'm just running my thoughts off of you, since you're a man.
Mummies are all the rage in London right now.
Have you heard anything about any new mummies being on exhibit lately?
I don't really run in such circles, but there's always a mummy on exhibit somewhere in this city these days. They're constantly digging up various tombs and if I recall, in Egypt.
But the long fingernails, the mummies generally don't have long fingernails.
I couldn't tell you. I've never seen one.
I've perchance to get the opportunity to went to a museum and.
That said, from what I think I've ever heard of one being 8 feet tall either.
True. Well, if that's all you need to look at on the corpse, there's
not much else I can tell you. The man is very dead, severe trauma, blood loss, damage to multiple internal organs, all of them vital. You can see two of the spikes. One went through his shoulder, very close to where he was grasped up here. Another one went through the center of his chest, and the other one went through just kind of to the right of his stomach there in the lower abdomen, above the hip here, where the other grip was. Yes, he was picked up bodily and just placed, although I would say quite forcefully, down upon those spikes.
Yeah, by his size, their hands, the width their hands had to place in each place.
This is not a small man. It was not easy to lift a man so high.
True. Well, I really appreciate what you've helped us with here, and I look forward to talking to you again as a man of science. You have an open mind also to that which is not known.
It didn't used to be as open as it is now, but being neighbors to Hudson and Brand for 9 years, it tends to change your perspective on things. Now, shall we get back? I do have some appointments this afternoon.
Oh, yes. Thank you for your time, and let's continue together back home. Thank you.
All right. Gentlemen, checking around the various hotels. Both of you, roll percentiles for me.
All right.
Oh, not bad.
Nice.
22.
5.
Oh, God, 5. Brilliant. Okay. What's your luck, Von Zorn?
Not 22.
Lower than 22, yeah? Okay.
Lower than 22, yeah. It's actually at this point my luck is 11.
Okay. So you guys are going around the different hotels. Obviously, you're probably not going to sit together. You're probably split up, I would assume. Or no?
Yeah. I think
You take these neighborhoods, I'll take these neighborhoods, and we'll meet back here in a couple of hours kind of thing, right?
yeah, it's broad daylight, and I don't think it's too much danger.
Mm-hmm. Well, you are the one to come across it, Oscar. The Somerset Hotel on the Strand. It's trying to remember. There's something on this map, if I recall correctly, that's also in that same area, but I can't remember what now. Damn. Oh no, it was. It might not even be on this map. There was I can't think of it. It's like a Hall of Records type thing. The Somerset House, it was called. But I don't think it is on this map. Come to think of it, it was on another map we had previously. But anyway, on the Strand, Somerset Hotel, I think it's called. Yep, the Somerset Hotel. One of the busiest parts of urban London. Yeah, you ask at the desk. They say, yes, we do have a Mr. Munir Fez staying here.
Oh, wonderful. My employer will be quite happy to know that I've located him.
May I ask what this is in relation to? Would you like me to summon him?
Oh, no, that's quite all right at this time. I do appreciate your help and slip him a couple of pound coins.
Oh, well, yes. Well, thank you. Yes.
I do appreciate your discretion as well.
He will also blurt out a room number.
Tap the side of my nose and give him a wink. And then head on out.
Okay.
Excellent. Somerset Hotel on the Strand. And then, well, I'm not very stealthy, but it's a busy hotel, right?
Yes. Very
okay,
busy.
when he's not looking, or when he's engaged with someone else, just take a turn and go upstairs.
Okay. Sure.
Walk by the room.
Just looking to see if there's anything special about the room. So, okay, there's this room. It's on the first floor, so that's the second floor for Americans, but first floor in England. Is there anything else I need to know about? I was just reading real quick here. Nope. Okay. Yep. So yeah, you find the room number.
Okay.
Room number 111.
111. All right.
Room 111, Somerset Hotel.
I'll slow down as I pass and cock an ear towards the door, see if I can hear anything.
It's very quiet.
Can I smell anything?
No.
Okay. All right. Continue on and go back downstairs and leave the hotel.
Okay. So you guys probably, let's see, it was about 12 o'clock when you started canvassing the hotels. Geez, I guess you guys skipped lunch. What time are you meeting back at Golden Square?
We said 4, and unless
Oscar, okay.
Unless Oscar gets up with me first, then we may do something different.
What, go wandering around?
Yeah, I'd be
various London hotels looking for you.
Well, I mean, I don't know what Oscar found, so
exactly. You'll have to wait until you guys rendezvous.
Right.
And you can share that. No problem. That'll work. That's fine because you can get the whole party back together then anyway.
On this way back, I'm going to stop and get some pie and mash.
Yeah, good idea. You're probably pretty hungry by this time. And it's too bad you don't have cell phones, huh?
Yeah.
Oh my God! I was thinking that the other minute. I was like, this could be so much easier if we could even a phone booth. You know?
Yeah, not even. So, Ruben, you get back to 33 Golden Square probably by yeah, it's kind of lunchtime, late lunchtime, maybe almost 1 o'clock by the time you get there.
Very good.
You walk in and there's Loyal Gibbs in the lobby.
Loyal
Well, apparently
Gibbs.
you've never met. You only know him through reputation, according to Paul.
Can I
We
interject for a quick second before you get to that?
Yeah, what?
How much time is it before 4 o'clock when I find this guy?
Let's see. By the time you found it, it was 2 o'clock.
Oh, okay, then never mind. All right, I do what I did, what I said I did.
Okay. Cool. So, John.
Mr. Gibbs, I was going to search you out, but the police got to you before I could. I was trying to give you a little heads up.
No worries, sir.
We actually
just doing their job.
we actually worked together once before. I had you secure a cadaver for one of my doctor clients. We just missed meeting each other though.
Yes, as I said, I didn't have an opportunity to come and meet you. I figured now was a good day as any.
Yes, indeed. With all this business of this large individual murdering people, I thought it best to get you into the public eye around some somewhat reputable folks so that anytime you're seen, you can be seen with other people. So avoid suspicion.
Well, I prefer not to be seen much in the public eye, but I appreciate.
I completely understand, but in this particular circumstance, until things blow over, it may benefit you.
It doesn't mean that I don't. I'll just have to watch where I go and at least make sure I'm with other people, perhaps. But the what was it? Was he an inspector at Scotland Yard or?
Yes.
Yeah, the inspector knows. I'm pretty sure he certainly trusts me now. As I said, I had an alibi last night, and
Inspector Craddock, is that who you met with?
yes, was that right, Ian? I can't remember.
Yes, Inspector Craddock.
Yeah, he's quite satisfied with my whereabouts last night.
Very good.
I don't commonly advertise my relationship with my brother. I'm certain former masters might have had notes indicating who he was. He works for the police, not low. Commander Abel Gibbs of the Metropolitan Police, but so I don't go ahead usually advertising or using my relationship with him unless, well, in this case, it was needed. I happened to be with him last night.
Very good. We are in good terms with a much lower agent of the police department, Sergeant Parlow. I was going to work out some arrangement letting him know that you're going to be around, but if you have connections, then apparently it's not needed. So other than that, are you looking for employment?
Yes, your partner there, Mr. Master Zorn, has offered, well, has requested my services tonight to help protect an individual.
Very good. Very good.
They figured you would be around shortly and didn't need my services now, so I suggested I wait here to meet you.
Well met, sir. Well met. Have they fed you?
Yes, it was some lovely strawberry strudel.
Ah, yes, the strudel. How about some real food?
I guess it is getting close to lunchtime.
All right.
I wouldn't turn down a good meal.
Markham, what do we have for lunch, sir?
Yes. Well, I will prepare something for you right away, sir. Have you seen Mr. Von Zorn? He was looking for you earlier.
I have not. We were going down different paths, apparently. I will stay put until he finds me here.
I see. Yes. He is acting very strangely.
More strange than usual?
Good point, sir. Good point. Anyway, I'll see to that lunch now.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, and so he'll set you up some lunch. What's his name? Gerard will come back not too long thereafter. And then by 4 o'clock, maybe even a little before, by the time they finish their checking their hotels, probably a little bit before 4 o'clock, both Wilhelm and Oscar will arrive back at the agency.
Very good.
We'll say about 3:45.
Gentlemen,
Everybody's all together.
I have good news. I have located our mysterious Egyptian.
Excellent.
He is staying at the Somerset Hotel on the Strand in room 111.
Well, let's explain who the Egyptian is. I go through the whole story about what we found at the mansion.
Are you familiar with that story, John, or do you need it to refresh?
I'll take the refresh.
Yeah, go for it.
Well, Oscar and I went to have an audience with Colonel Hollingsworth. Unfortunately, we were unsuccessful in that he wouldn't see us, but his wife, very young, very beautiful woman, did explain to us that he was having a visitor, an Egyptian fellow. He did receive him at one time, and they got into some sort of argument. And that caused a rift, as it were, but the Egyptian man kept staying around. We got the name of the Egyptian, and Oscar and I searched the hotels in the area for him. And Oscar obviously had found him.
Indeed.
He's probably our next suspect. Gerard, did you find anything at the morgue? Gerard?
Yes, sir. Yeah, the doctor examined the corpse. The handprint was from a very large individual. I just shouldn't say a handprint, but where the bruises were, he was grasped up on the shoulder and the opposite thigh to lift him up. The doctors said that he would probably be 8 feet tall by the judgment of the size of the hands upon that was used upon him. He was also lacerations from long nails.
Long nails, you say?
Yes, as in fingernails or claws.
Claws.
Whichever one. Well, he didn't use the word. He used the word werewolf as a joke, but I'm assuming he meant claws or fingernails. He is open-minded to almost anything, apparently, but to the person.
Loyal looks at his fingernails and shrugs a bit and puts his hand down.
Well, I think this is leading more towards the supernatural, and I know
supernatural.
Yes, people the size of Law is very, very rare, and obviously this killer is as strong, if not stronger, than Mr. Gibbs here. And for me, the claws sort of seals it for me.
But the fact exists that a man of Loyal size already exists, as he is sitting right before us. And the world is a wide place. I think it's too early to fall on something preposterous like supernatural.
Well, my friend magician, do you not remember last night what the victim said? And the way he said it, it sounded like he had seen his murderer, but his murderer was not alive or animate at the time he'd seen him previously.
The man was also inches from death at the time. Blood loss causes quite a few things to go strange in the head.
Markham speaks up, says, "This seems like a very intense conversation. I will fetch the cigars and the brandy."
Oh, thank you, sir.
Markham, no brandy tonight.
Markham, no cigars tonight.
I look disappointed.
So does Markham. Very well, sirs.
Gentlemen,
I'm afraid we're all out of strudel. Loyal finished it.
My God, man. You have one job, and that's to keep strudel in this agency.
I beg your pardon, sir, but I believe that is Mrs. Levi's job, and she is not back until Monday.
That's quite all right, though. I'm not quite a fan of strudel.
Anyway, gentlemen, back to the business. I think we have two things we must consider with the information we have. That we may be dealing with a supernatural force here with some sort of vengeance against the men of the Buffs. I believe we have one suspect, which is this Egyptian. We know where he's at. So I think the choices are, do we confront him now or do we tail him and see what he does? What do you think?
Perhaps we watch the hotel and wait for him to leave, and then we investigate his room while he is gone.
Right. So
someone else goes in.
And so more of a clandestine approach.
Sure. Someone tails him to ensure that he's not going to show up uninvited while the room is being searched.
Anyone else?
No.
Well, the second thing is we have to protect the colonel. I believe that him and his wife are in grave danger. If this murderer is allowed to continue, he's logically the next victim. I believe, and I highly suggest that we stake out the colonel's domicile, the estate, very closely, and be ready to defend the colonel and his wife, if need be. Even though this would be against his wishes. Gentlemen?
Very good.
I mean, again, this will be against his wishes, and we would be breaking the law by going onto his estate.
Could we not monitor, if the state is that large, could we not monitor from afar? I mean, surely we would see any sort of aggressors cross the estate lawn.
His estate has walls and a gate. I believe it's possible, but I believe if it's true that our killer is supernatural, they may have ways of getting in to get past these barriers.
Typically, walled estates also maintain a fair complement of hounds.
I do not.
Do you know where that's...
Ian, when we were there, did we see any kennels or anything like that?
No, you didn't see any.
Okay.
I don't know. I don't think there was no sign of dogs being on the property.
Yeah, I don't believe there's any hounds there. The colonel's a very proud man. I could just tell already. I'm sure he has a number of weapons available, but I do believe there's something he's keeping. He would not even see us, and his wife told us that he did fly into a rage. I mean, well, rage, but act peculiar, shall we say? I believe there's more to it than he knows, than we know. And also, there's something that bothers me too. The name of the estate, the Kandahar House. The fact that the colonel must have had some sort of experience in Afghanistan or that region, so that he would name his own estate that.
Curious.
Yes. So that's my consideration I put before you, gentlemen.
We sent somebody who could be stealthy on the property, watching the property closer and making rounds around the property hidden. And if something came up, they could signal us with a light or something like that if we were farther off the property, so we wouldn't be everybody be on there to be.
Well, obviously, I was believing Mr. Gibbs would be part of the protection team for obvious reasons. I would be more than happy to be there too.
I do have some ability in remaining unseen, despite my size. And I have big eyes and big ears and big fists. So wherever you feel will be best suited.
Well, I think definitely we'll leave that to your discretion. You're probably better at this than we are. And I believe we must do this by nighttime because the colonel may be attacked. Hopefully we can link something with the Egyptian. And I do agree with Oscar, checking the Egyptian's hotel room will probably bear fruit. Now, granted, nothing may happen tonight. We don't know the schedule of the killer, and so this may be a several night stakeout. Ruben?
Yes.
You've been quiet.
Oh, right. I'm not Ruben.
Ruben, you've been quiet.
I'm contemplating the potential of an 8-foot man being sneaky on this open property.
Well, it would be dark and there are trees and no one's expecting a large individual. That's usually why I can remain unseen, though.
And there are buildings. And there are buildings. And there's buildings and trees where he can hide. There's 2 smaller sheds and another building on the property, and there's bushes.
Wonder if this might be a good opportunity to include Sergeant Parlow, just to give him a heads up. Maybe he could be in the area, run interference if things go south. Or
Excellent idea.
In the area of Hampstead?
Yeah, that's out of his range,
That's
isn't
a
it?
long way. He works in Whitechapel.
Yeah.
But
I'll pull up the map again to show you how far away that is.
But giving him a heads up might be actually
Whitechapel?
Yeah, he's not going to be any help at all.
well, but it's still giving him a heads up. He has a he has a connection to Scotland Yard. It might actually come in handy. At least they will know what he will know what we're doing, and he would understand.
I'm gonna agree to it, but I'm not gonna include him. It just the thought was again, I was thinking local. All right, we don't have any friends in Hampstead. We're just gonna have to play it by ear. As much as I would rather not, I was hoping we could somehow tie it to maybe we could be ghost hunting. We just happened to end up on the property because we were chasing a ghost, and then people would write it off as silly old Hudson and Brand.
Well, Ruben, since you are familiar with the Egypt, you would probably be the best person to be on the surveillance or the team for the Egyptian. If he has something in his room in Egyptian, you would be the only one who could read it.
Very good. True. Okay. Let's move forward.
Yeah. It's not like we have little spy cameras in this day and age.
Oh my God, I would give anything for that. I could do Delta Green well. I do Delta Green really well. I
can see you carrying in the giant,
maybe that'll be my next campaign.
Photographic equipment spend half an hour trying to set up a shot.
So 5 o'clock, you guys have an early dinner. Some of you had a late lunch, but what's the plan? Where's everybody going?
Well, I dress in black.
I've been mostly just listening to you guys, let you guys talk it through, but now I want to know where people are going to be and when.
Well, I am not going to go to the estate. That's for sure. I can help with the hotel side.
Well, I'll dress in black and bring my my Welsh. I call it the Welsh kit now. I'm going to go to the estate with Mr. Gibbs.
Go to the Kandahar estate, yes?
Yes.
So, Kandahar estates. or Kandahar House, sorry, it's called. So we've got Gibbs going there.
Well, I'm assuming Mr. Gibbs. I can't talk for Mr. Gibbs. I assume
Well,
he's
yeah,
going.
that's wherever you guys.
You're paying him.
I'm a blunt instrument. Point me in the direction.
Gibbs,
Speaking
Zorn.
of blunt instruments, I was going to see if you guys had. Ian never gave me stats on possibly like a sledgehammer if they exist, or.
Ooh, interesting. Let me take a look. So we've got Loyal and Von Zorn anyway, potentially going out to the Kandahar house tonight. What about everybody else? What's the plan? Are you just staking out the Kandahar house? Are you going anywhere else? Staking out anywhere else? Is anybody going to do anything else this evening?
Yeah, I think we should stake out the
talk to anybody else? Or?
Yeah, I think we should stake out the hotel, watch to see if the Egyptian man leaves.
So who wants to stake out the hotel?
I'll go to the hotel.
I'm at the hotel.
Hang out in the restaurant there, or the lobby.
Ruben will also go to the hotel.
We're both men of means, so we won't stick out too poorly. That hotel, how upscale was it?
That's a good question, actually. Let me look it up real quick and see.
If it's like a little flop house thing, then
I don't think so.
I wouldn't think so.
Somerset Hotel.
Yeah, if it was a flop house, I have one in my backstory, and that would be interesting if it was that one.
London. So I'm trying to see if oh, that's on Booking.com. Its Google reviews are pretty poor as well. Oh wait, that's not the right one.
Actually, I have a question.
The Strand.
Mr. Gibbs, can you use a sword?
I know which end to point away from me.
And you can swing it, I assume.
I guess. They're speaking mechanically. I don't know. Which skill would that be? A melee?
Melee weapon. Yeah, melee weapon.
What's the base value for melee? Because I don't have it.
It's Brawl. It's called Brawl.
I do have
although melee is different for different types of weapons. Yeah, it's true. Sorry. Depending. Brawl is like for simple weapons.
And I'm assuming a sword is not simple, or it is?
No, sword has its own listing, which I'd have to look up.
Yeah.
It's back on page 60 odd, I recall, because I had to ask somebody at one point in time. Fighting. Specializations. Sword starts at a base 20%. All blades over 2 feet in length.
Sorry, what's it called?
Mechanically, you might be losing something by using a weapon rather than just using your fists.
Well, what is so? What was the skill again, Ian?
Fighting sword. It's not going to be on your character sheet. It's a specialized skill.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm just adding it.
Fighting sword, 20%.
Okay, just so I have it here. Yeah, I'm not. That's a big.
Okay.
Sledgehammer. It'd probably be closer to axe, really, as far as skill wise goes. So I'd say that's probably a 15% base.
Okay.
So I can't use.
Okay.
I just put it down, and a machete would be brawl or something else.
Machete. If it's less than 2 feet in length, it would be regular brawl. Yeah.
Okay. So sledgehammer. What kind of damage would that do, if there is?
Let's see. Let me look something up similar. Of course, it isn't exactly. I don't think, but
we have some African weapons that are like
this. I would say it would do 1d8 plus 2 plus your damage bonus.
Okay, that's what I had written down.
Oh.
Yeah, if you happen to have, if you have something else,
we have a club, a large, like a club, an African club.
Oh, you do that? Yes. What are those? Let me look those up again.
So would that African club be brawl?
Let me see here. Weapons. I gotta look it up real quick, and then I'll tell you.
Sure. And then the weapon, the damage for the machete.
Handguns. Okay, hand-to-hand weapons. What were those things called? Is it there's a spear?
You said there was African weapons, and some of them was a spear, a club. I a heavy sword-like thing.
What is this thing? Broad, blunt, single-edged blade. That's more of a sword. Swords. I don't see anything about clubs in
Have
Hudson Brand.
a
No.
blackjack at D8.
I don't remember ever mentioning anything about a club, honestly, but I don't know.
Okay, I might have got confused with something else.
But yeah, so what you have, like I said, though, is you have walking canes. You have, of course, the Wilkinson infantry sword, which was, I believe it was Hudson's sword, wasn't it? Yeah, it was Captain Hudson's sword.
Right.
So you have the Akrafina, which is the African traditional Ashanti sword. Broad, blunt, single-edged, 27.5-inch blade with a heavy pommel, kind of similar to a falchion. You like medieval swords. There are several of those. And then there's the pial, which is the Ashanti spear. The shields, the wooden barimos. And then there's the MIT bayonet, which is a sword bayonet, 22.75-inch long blade. So that would fall into simple weapons. Basically like a short sword.
Actually, I think he'll just stick with what he has. Just the damage for a machete type weapon
Machete.
is the only thing he would. I wrote it down. I don't know if you're okay with me having one.
Yeah, I'd be okay with it. I just got to look it up. Where is that thing? There we go. Of course, machete's probably not in there. Big large knife. Here we go. Large. It's basically large knife. 1d8 plus damage bonus, and it uses the brawl skill.
Okay. Basically, my weapons, and he'll have. Before we go, we can stop by his place. He gets more appropriate clothing, darker clothing. He picks. He has brass knuckles, which are only an extra 1 damage over his unarmed. Blackjack, which is a D8 plus damage bonus. Machete's the same. And then I don't think he'll have a rock on him, but I did have that written down. Yeah, is there anything?
I can't seem to find the Somerset Hotel. I don't even think it probably wasn't a real hotel. The only Somerset Hotel I can find is out in Marylebone. Marylebone.
There was. I found one, Hotel Somerset. It was
but it's in a totally different neighborhood.
Oh, is it? Mm.
Yeah. So,
yeah, that one didn't have very good ratings, but
no, it didn't. So I'm just gonna say, no, it's not a particularly nice hotel. It's
just a regular hotel. Okay.
It's a busy hotel, but it's kind of like middle class, whatever. It's
Now, would there be anything better than a blackjack that uses the brawl skill? I don't think so.
Let's see. Fuck 'em. Let's get combat. Chase, magic. Okay, I went too far. I didn't go far enough the first time. Right, here we go. So, melee weapons. Where's blackjack? There's blackjack, right? Okay, yeah. A live wire, but no, you don't have any of those. No.
Okay, actually, can we say that the blackjack is a walking cane built for loyal as opposed to a normal walking cane?
Yeah, sure. I mean, a walking cane made for low, pretty big.
Because a normal walking cane is the D6, and a blackjack you gave me a D8. So.
D8, yeah, that's fine. I'm totally cool with that.
Okay, I think I'm fine.
Call it Loyal's cane.
think I'm good. Yeah, so he has some dark clothes that he normally wears when skulking around the town. Similar to the picture that I posted in the group. Like an overcoat, black hat, and I don't think he's going to bring the mask. Though he might have it on him in case he needs to. But
I actually have that image here somewhere. It's not there. It's going to be here. Yeah. That outfit, right? But without wearing the mask?
yes, essentially that's it. Which is working. He has that just for work.
Yep, absolutely. So, no problem. What about Gerard? What's he going to be doing this evening? So far, we got plans for Ruben and Oscar. They're going to stake out the hotel. Gibbs and Zora plan to stake out Kandahar House.
I'll do wherever be most effective. It's fine.
Because you said nobody should go alone.
Yeah, I mean, I'll go wherever it's most effective. Just point me in the direction to our two generals.
Are you,
Carmichael, where do you think you'd be best served?
Are you, Gerard, are you good at sneaking? Being quiet, stealthiness?
Not particularly, no.
Then you should come with us.
Fine. That's good.
Only reason I'm saying because following the Egyptian will require a certain amount of stealthiness. And if you're not good with that, then we could probably use your muscle with us.
Well, I don't know about my muscles, but I got 2 barrels that would probably work just as well.
As the great Willie Nelson once said, a Smith & Wesson makes all men equal.
True.
All right. Cool. So that's plans for where you guys plan to go this evening, etc. after dark. Anything else that you want to accomplish that day? Saturday night, Saturday evening?
One word. One word for security. I think we should have a, shall we say, a password. That way, if we give someone a message for us, we would know it's coming directly from us.
That's not a bad idea. Do you expect that sort of espionage?
I expect everything, good sir. Everything. May I suggest bookmarks?
Bookmarks?
Yes, and sort of a in memory of our friend Mrs. Morrow in her bookstore.
In memory of? Has something happened to Mrs. Morrow I wasn't paying attention?
No, I'm just remembering. I'm just thinking of her. That's all.
Oh, okay. In memory of Alice Morrow.
It's Call of Cthulhu. She's going to die at some point. We all know that.
Not before Zorn, I doubt.
Oh, no.
Secret password is bookmarks. Okay.
Yeah. So if basically if you give someone a message or something like that, or if the challenge is would be bookmarks. Okay.
All right.
Bookmarks it is.
Okay. So you guys going out to Kandahar House, you can't really do much before dark. You don't want to get out there before dark anyway, because you can notice very easily. It is in a very astute area. You know, all the properties up there, it's all rich folk and stuff. But Ruben and Oscar, you guys are going to go to the Somerset Hotel and keep an eye out for Mr. Fez, yes?
Indeed.
I don't have any images, so I'll just bring up the London map again.
Very good.
I don't have an image for the hotel, but...
I posted an image in the chat of the street area, but...
Oh, did you?
I did.
Open street, right?
Yep.
So the Strand itself?
Yep.
That's about the right time period too, isn't it?
Yep.
Well, save image as I will sort this out momentarily. correct folder. Scenarios. What's this one? Night of the Jackals. Right. And we'll just save it right there.
Cool.
And I'll go over here and we can get rid of Namdak Yu Ying and the opium den. You're not going back there tonight. Boom. There's the strand.
Yep.
Okay. Like I said, very busy part of London, indeed. And let's see here. So you guys probably get there around, say, 6 or so.
Sure.
Maybe a little before if you went there for dinner instead of staying and eating dinner at the...
Not a bad idea. We can go to the restaurant across the street and where we can linger over dinner.
And you will get a view of a man, an Egyptian man going into the hotel. Who you think is probably your mark.
Let's see.
He is, let's see here. So he's average build, maybe a little slight, but dressed very respectably in a well-trimmed suit, tie, and hat. Not a fez, ironically, but yeah. He's got a small mustache, an easy smile, rather handsome. You do notice as he's walking in, though, he sneezes and coughs a little bit and blows his nose into a handkerchief.
All right. I believe we have found our gentleman, Ruben.
Indeed.
I wonder if he is retiring for the evening or if he is preparing to head out again.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Have to just keep an eye now that we have a general idea of what we're looking for.
Indeed.
Seems about the appropriate time to find dinner and such. So,
yeah,
I would suspect he's going to make his way over here. There aren't many Egyptian restaurants or any sort, so
true. Hopefully, he does come this way. Then
we could go to the hotel and middle about. Maybe we can catch an eye on him, see what room he's in. Maybe
I know what room he's in.
That's true. We do 111.
Yep.
Well, I guess the choice is either we watch from afar and hope that he appears, or we go and try to make some sort of closer contact.
Well, as a seasoned investigator, I'll leave that decision to you.
Well, then I will fall back on what all seasoned investigators do in a moment like this. He takes out a coin and he flips it. We are going to make our way in. Have you finished your meal? Are we ready?
I am quite ready, yes. So that will allow me to take care of the bill here.
And then we will head over to the hotel. Make use of the lobby. See what options there are for a lounge or a study or a smoking room or something along those lines. See if you might be there.
Yeah, there'd be like probably a lounge with a bar and stuff, and you could smoke in there, of course. It's 1890, man. You can smoke anywhere.
Right.
Sure. Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
In
He's not in there, however.
In the nursery, holding the baby.
A lot of people are here. None of whom are Egyptian.
All right. We'll procure a table where we can see both the lobby and the stairs leading up, if that's
Good
possible.
call. Maybe start some small talk, chit chat.
Yep.
Hey, have you heard about the latest mummy in town? And
oh, I've been meaning to go take a look at that. It's quite fascinating, those things.
I sure do like things from Egypt, and on with things like that. See if maybe we can perk up some. Hey, I saw an Egyptian man today. That sort of conversation.
Yeah. No.
Okay. Well, it was worth the try.
Yeah, you guys hang out there for several hours. You don't see the man come out again.
Okay.
It's by this point in time, it's probably about 9 o'clock at night.
It seems to me
Been
that
3 hours since you saw him walk in.
seems to me that our best option would be to get here in the morning and wait for him to leave for his business for the day before we head in.
Or we could check with the front desk, leave a message for him to meet us somewhere. Us being maybe not us, but somebody that he might be interested in meeting. And then maybe force him to be in a particular area to watch him.
That could work.
It might be best if you don't deliver the message and one of those boys deliver it.
Perhaps.
I just had a great idea. As if a giant man spoke in my ear. Perhaps we can spend one of the boys to deliver that message.
We could, but I would not hazard to send one of the boys to a random exotic stranger.
Indeed. Well, we would leave it with the desk clerk, but there's always someone on the street that he can give a couple of coins to deliver a message for you, I'm sure.
Of course, yeah. No, I'm thinking the desk clerk will be enough. Check with the desk clerk, see if he's actually seen him leave, and if not, then... But what will be our reason to have him meet us?
That's a good idea. Think of that while I slip over to the other guys, because it's dark now.
Very good.
So you can have arrived at Kandahar House. Do I have that up here somewhere? I don't. Where do I put down? Well, okay. Let's get rid of Fez and the Strand here. Remove. And actually, there was an easier way to do that. Oh, well, too late now. I could just have put them one on top of the other and then slip between the two.
Just to let you know, before we left, I would have packed the carriage with some sort of grappling hook and rope, and so we could something to scale walls if we needed to.
Right. Okay. Fair enough. Let's see now. If I do that, and then I can also do this, like so, and put Fez over here, as I did. So then, when I want to do one or the other, I can just go like this. Yeah, that's brilliant. Within the same scene, and then when I want to change back to, oh no, sorry. Yeah, there. I can just switch like that. Cool. Got it. Boom, I'm a genius. All right, there you go. So back to Kandahar House. Sorry, you were saying, and I said yes, and I wasn't even listening to you. What were you saying, Joe?
You were saying that I could have a cannon and a platoon of infantrymen on standby. You said yes. I'm sorry.
The Prussian infantry platoon is not in town.
No.
Not October.
No, I said that I was going to make sure before we left I had some sort of grappling hook and rope in order to scale a wall.
Okay, yeah, sure, no problem.
And make sure Mr. Gibbs and Gerard was aware of it. And so we may need to scale the wall if possible.
Okay. Yep.
All right,
no problem. No problem. So what are you guys going to do? What's the plan? You'll see lights are on inside the house. Just activity within.
Okay.
The household is home. There's you know that there is the colonel and he has a wife. They have at least one child that you're aware of. Plus their household staff. You've seen the butler.
Right.
And you can assume there's probably several other members of staff on the household as well.
Okay. Mr. Gibbs, are you familiar with breaking into a break with locks and such?
Can I open the lock? Quite possibly.
Without smashing it.
Oh, no.
Okay.
Yeah, sure. I can open a lock. Can you do it quietly? No.
That's pretty much the answer to every question.
Gerard, what about you?
That's not a specialty.
Yeah,
it's a skill.
Yeah.
No?
Not really.
Remind me to give Renard a raise so we can get him back. Because I really could use Renard back. He's our B&E guy. Okay.
There was another one too. The first session we played. I can't remember the character's name. Clay was playing a cat burglar. Remember?
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah.
My hands are too big for subtle work like that.
Nope.
If I recall correctly, Ruben was really good at locksmithing as well.
Indeed.
Yep. Well, we needed his Egyptian skills more than the locksmith. So, let's go up. Let's stealthily go up to the gate along the side of the road. Make sure, Gerard, if you could do a favor and keep a lookout, and let's see if there's some place we can camp out at inside the gate.
Well, the walls are 8 feet tall, which is not that tall. I can lift someone up.
Right, but I just want to make sure if we do go over there, someone's not looking at the walls as we jump.
Sure.
Okay. Also, the neighboring house to the left.
Yeah.
How easy it is to get into that property?
Pretty much the same. They're all pretty much the same around here.
Do I see any dogs?
High brick walls.
Do we see any dogs or anything on that side?
What's your luck?
Don't ask me that.
Yes. There are dogs over there.
What about the other side?
No.
Okay. Does the other side, and I know it's not there, but does the other side look that occupied?
Yes. Both do.
Jesus. Because there's a strand of trees in the back there. It would be nice to be able to climb over and get to.
Mm-hmm. So the property on the right has no dogs. The property on the left does have dogs. And that's kind of
right. Right.
That's the one you're probably looking at with the trees right up against the thing. Well, they both kind of do, don't they?
Right.
In fact, take the Colonel out of there.
Do we know the names of the owners of the other properties?
No,
we don't. We can check. Okay. My suggestion is that we make our way onto the properties and stealth our way towards the tool shed. That way, we can have a better view of what's the Colonel's house.
Something just struck me. Both of the people that were murdered outside, not in their home, but outside. One in his garden and the other outside.
Yeah, the other one on the street. Yeah.
Yes. So maybe we
all three, because the guy who fell in front of the train was at a train station. You know, he was
yeah.
I'm pretty sure it's an outdoor platform there. I could be mistaken, actually.
You're right. That reminds me. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, that's an extremely good point.
Yeah.
But how does that affect us now?
Well, because you're standing outside the property of one of these guys right now. Maybe you're next.
Well, I was thinking we don't need to concentrate on the house. We need to watch and see if the guy leaves the house, and then make sure we follow him then. But while he's inside the house.
Let's see if Von Zorn can get Zorned.
Well, that's a good idea. So, but like I said, my suggestion was to get closer so we can also observe what's going on in the house. I think the Colonel knows more than he's telling us.
Okay, I'll follow your lead. You're in charge.
Well, I mean, but it's your life, so I don't want to put you in any more danger than you feel comfortable with. I really would like to see if we can get at least to the work shed.
So you go over the wall and try to sneak up to where the working tool shed is.
What, is the gate open or closed?
Well, the gate's locked. It's closed and locked.
Yeah. Okay. And is from looking outside with my spyglass, can I tell if there's anyone looking, observing the grounds?
No. He doesn't seem to have like guards posted watching or anything like that. No.
That's strange.
Give me a spot hidden roll.
I am actually good at that.
Good.
Well, better
I rolled a 16. Believe it or not, I rolled a 16, and my spot hidden is oh shit! I could spend one.
You get a bonus die too. Roll your bonus die real quick.
Oh, roll bonus. Okay.
Maybe you got
No, 16 is best I got.
Okay.
I can spend 1 luck, and that would make me have a hard success.
You only have 30 in spot hidden? I thought you said you were
30,
good at it.
31.
You said you were good at it. 31's not good at it.
It's better than the average.
It's not worth it. Don't waste luck.
Okay.
You need your luck. You don't have much.
Do you want to give me the spyglass? I'm a little taller than you.
You do see a man walk by and kind of pull a curtain aside and look out the window. As you're looking with a spyglass, you can see it's the butler, Fordyce, the older gentleman that you saw before. And he does have a shotgun in his hand as he's looking out the window.
Okay, so
he closed the curtain.
And then he closes the curtain.
Yeah, the curtain was already closed. He just got pulled aside, peered out, and then let close. The butler is walking around the house, you're guessing, with a shotgun occasionally peering outside.
Okay. The butler is gone. If we're going to do this, let's do it now.
Well, can I also look around, because I got a better vantage point, I guess, from up here?
Sure. Here's the spyglass. Go ahead.
So, that's like advantage? I rolled twice?
What do you mean?
No, I thought he rolled twice for it.
Yeah, because it's spyglass. It's not twice. It's a bonus die. So Call of Cthulhu is a percentile system, right? So you roll your percentile.
Yes.
Then you roll an extra die to see for a second result on the first number, right? So like here, I just rolled a 95. Then my second roll was a 3. So it was a 95 or 35. Because it was a bonus die, I would take 35. That's the better result. If it were a penalty die, I would have to take the worst result, which would be the 95.
Okay. So what second dice do I roll?
Another percentage? Another percentile. So you roll the percentiles, like 2d10.
All right, 47.
Okay, now roll another d10 and tell me what you rolled.
Oh, just one d10?
Yeah, just one d10.
8.
So 47 or 87. It's a bonus, so you take the better of the two. You got a 47.
47. Just a success, not...
okay.
35 is my cutoff. So
nothing really to see. Everything is quiet.
Okay. All right. If Mr. Gibbs, if you give us a boost.
Sure.
Go over the wall?
I'm going to try to go at the southwest corner. You see that tree, that lone tree right there? Use that as a cover and try to get have the line of sight covered by that trees on the other side of the wall.
I gotcha.
What's the top of the fence or wall made out of?
It's brick.
Okay, so it's not like where the last person died with spikes on.
No. It's not a wrought iron spiked fence.
And how wide is it?
Well,
I lift one of them up. How wide?
Probably
is it?
A couple feet.
Oh, perfect. I lift them, put them both on top.
Yeah, you're gonna go over to the other side, over the wall, or you're gonna stand on top of it?
Not standing on top, but
give me a climb roll.
Who, me?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, not
you can
standing.
Have a bonus die since Gibbs gave you the help up.
Right, not standing on top, laying flat, not going to silhouette myself.
Oh, you're not going over? Well, then you don't.
Yeah, I swear to God, I need a camera. I am not making this up. You have a camera. Well, let me show you this. Hold on. I'm going to show you this because this is why I don't like doing this because it always like, oh, he's bullshit. This is my roll. I swear to God, I rolled a odd one. I am not making it.
Oh, yeah, I see it. Good for you.
I am not.
Yeah, so when you do decide to go over, you'll get over no problem.
Okay. And I check my climb roll.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Put a check mark there. What about you, Rob? What are you doing? As Von Zorn is laying on top of this brick wall now.
And going over.
And you're getting a hand up there, Gerard.
I guess when I get up there, before I go down into the yard, look around a little bit, see what's happening. Make sure that Zant gets down okay, without any problems, without anybody hearing anything.
Yeah, he climbs back down onto the other side without any trouble.
Okay. I guess I'll follow him.
Yeah, roll a climb roll with a bonus die.
Could you roll the dice for me? I hate to ask you,
Yeah,
but
sure. What's your climb skill?
my climb skill is I'm trying to get my character sheet up at the same time. Your climb is.
You know, I might should have asked, do we know how to
Climb is 20.
Yeah, I rolled it out 2, so no problem.
Okay.
You can pick your climb skill because you get a chance to improve that after investigation.
Okay, thank you.
You get over no problem as well. What are you doing now? You're just standing there on the other side of the wall, Loyal. I mean, you could reach up and put your arms on top of the wall, no problem with your height. But.
Yeah. So once they're over, I'll if they want me to join you, then I will come over.
Yeah, that's the plan.
Okay, then I'll look
Give me a climb
around.
roll.
I'll look around and then I'll climb over. Do I have an extra roll or just
No.
straight? Okay. Haha, 16, and that is
Definitely a success.
that's under half. Yeah.
Good. Yeah, you climb over no problem.
Okay, and
All 3 of you have made it to the other side. And you're kind of behind those trees now on the southwest side of the estate.
I put my hands up to my lips and move towards that grove of trees and lay flat.
Okay.
And lay flat, pull out the spyglass, and look at and observe the house. I give it to Mr. Gibbs and say, and just basically look.
Let's see, 51, and I roll 1, and I got a 9. So 51 and then a 9. What is that?
51 or 91, so 51 is the better roll.
Right, and that is under my spot.
Okay. Yeah, nothing. You don't see anything.
Okay.
It's all quiet.
I'd say keep low and let's go. Keep low and let's work our way to the small shed. Let's go.
Loyal's 7.5 feet tall and 500 pounds. You tell him to keep low.
Hey, I will roll a stealth check if you want me to. I am
No
planning
need to
on.
know.
Actually,
I'm good at stealth. I'm better at stealth than someone's that spot hidden.
yeah, actually, he is probably the best stealthy guy here.
Well, it's only a 60. Come on.
That's because he robs graveyards for a living.
Hey. I do not do anything illegal while working, usually.
Yeah, that you're aware of.
Okay, so we're gonna take our time and slowly, quietly. We're not in a rush. Make our way very lowly to the woodshed. I'm gonna ask Mr. Gibbs if he can keep an eye on the windows there, and if you see any movement, let us know, and we're gonna drop to the ground.
Will do.
Are we good? Are we all good?
Okay. So you're moving towards the tool shed, yeah?
Yeah. Well, you trying to put the carriage house and the stables between us and the house line of sight.
Okay. Give me a stealth roll.
Made it. Not by much, but made it.
Okay. Yeah, no problem. No problem. No sounds. You hear a little bit of noise from inside the carriage house and stables, but nothing abnormal. You haven't spooked the horses or anything.
Okay. Is the work shed locked?
You move over to the work and tool shed. There is a lock on it, yes.
All right. Shit. And no one knows how to pick locks here, huh?
So you're having both me and
Gerard, you guys are both still back at the grove of trees, right?
Right. Okay.
Yeah, he's not even in. Well, I mean, he's in shouting range if you want to shout at him, but you couldn't talk to him from here.
No, understood.
I'm just going to camp out behind the shed and look at and just observe the house.
Okay. It's a house. It's nighttime.
Mm-hmm.
It's doing house stuff that houses do at nighttime.
Okay. Well,
It's a good
that's
thing we're
Nothing unusual.
It's
You don't
something
hear
we're
any. You don't hear any eldritch incantations or see any glowing green lights coming from behind the curtains.
I'm just glad we're not going after the gazebo.
Okay. Well, that's what I'm doing. So.
Okay. And the other two are just back by the grove of trees, waiting for you to come back?
I don't know.
I guess
we should.
Okay.
We should ask them.
Anything else you want to do, Gerard, while you're here with Loyal, or are you going to stay here with him?
Whatever they want me to do, I'm fine. I'm just kind of here to lean
Well,
and lend.
Loyal didn't give you any instructions before he disappeared, so yeah. Okay, cool.
Whereabouts are? I'm looking at the map right now. So the top of the map is north.
Yeah,
correct?
so if you look south, you're in the southwest corner of the actual property behind those trees. There's like, looks like maybe 5 or 6 trees there, south of the carriage house, but yeah.
Okay, got
And
it.
Von Dorn is now up and behind the tool shed. So he's, like I said, you couldn't even, you'd have to shout to say anything to him.
I'm thinking we should split up.
You can't see him now anyway because he's hidden.
So I think I'm going to go to where he is, but first I'm going to talk to Loyal and tell him I think we should spread out more. Like one of us in the gardens, one of us, in different areas to watch what's going on, to sound the alarm if something does happen. Because we're trying to condense together right now.
Sure.
And looking at one area.
You guys continue sneaking around the house and repositioning yourselves in different places. Yeah. You don't get noticed at any point in time. The brother only looks out a couple more times the window before he eventually probably goes to bed too. He's got to sleep as well. Everybody eventually goes to bed and the house goes quiet. Basically you can hide out here all night, but nothing happens.
Okay. When the sun looks like it's starting to come up, I'm going to start.
You should.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, when it just before dawn, I will probably make my way back to the trees and try to round us all up quietly.
Yeah, no problem. Back to Oscar and Ruben. How long did you guys hang out there at the hotel?
Well, I wouldn't imagine we're going to stay here all night. I figure we'd probably leave around like 10 or so.
Okay.
Before I leave, though, I'm going to go to the desk clerk. And I want to see if I can. I'm going to try and get a look at the registry. Because I want to see if the Egyptian, in addition to putting his name in there, put the name of his company in there. So I imagine he's working. He put something out there to say he's with such and such trading company or whatever.
Okay, you just go up and try to grab the registry. And
Gosh, no. So
you go to the desk. It's a different clerk.
My good sir, I wonder if you might be able to help me with a discreet inquiry.
Yes.
My employer is interested in one of your guests here.
Who is your employer?
As I said, I'd like you to help me with a discreet inquiry. And I slide my hand away from the £1 coin and push it towards him. And I let him see underneath it a stack of more coins.
Tell me more.
There is a guest in your hotel, and I'm interested in what company he works for.
He reaches over and takes the pound coin and slides it over. And says, name?
Room 111.
He smiles and says, what an odd name.
Indeed. And I slide another coin over.
Munir Fez. Let's see here. Egyptian Museum, Cairo.
Excellent. My good sir, you have been amazingly helpful to me tonight. And I slide the 6 other coins over to him that I had under my hand. And I give him a wink, twirl my cane, and walk out of the hotel.
All right.
Reuben, he works for the Egyptian Museum, so he says.
Indeed. That's perfect.
Indeed.
Then I will make it official as an invite to come to us at the house to discuss a trip to Egypt, a fact-finding trip to Egypt, and we could use his go completely honest, because I plan to have a trip to Egypt again, and just play it off like that, and that way we get in there.
And you are interested in those sorts of things as well. So, the more truth, the better the lie.
Oh, absolutely. Yep. So that's what we will leave with the desk.
Mm-hmm. And I'm going to get some shut-eye, because I'm not going to stay up all night like those fools out at the estate. Forget that. I got to get my beauty sleep.
Go back to the house and get some sleep. Okay.
Yeah, definitely tip the desk to make sure that they get the.
Oh yeah, I tipped them well.
All right.
Okay.
That guy made 7 pounds off of me just now.
Let's see.
That's like a month's wages. I don't know.
Who gets there first in the morning? Okay. You wake to the sound of the bell ringing furiously. It's almost 7 o'clock in the morning.
Have the
Markham
stakeout men returned?
Door. Have the what?
Have the stakeout men returned?
No, not yet.
Okay.
They'll be here shortly, though. But no. We're back at Golden Square again. Yes, here we go. So Markham answers the door because he's up already preparing breakfast. And you can hear a very excitable voice if you haven't come out yet. You can hear the very excitable voice, which you may recognize as that of Alan Pace, your uncle, Reuben. You might not hear it since your room's in the basement, I think. Oh, wait, no, maybe not. Let me double check my map here. No, there's 2 guest rooms here on the ground floor, so you probably got one of those. Yeah. There'll be a knock on your door, Reuben.
He will answer his door.
That is Markham. Markham says, "Your uncle is here, and he is very excited, sir. It seems that someone was staking out his apartment last night. He wishes to speak with you."
By all means, he's gonna step out. Did he say my uncle?
Yeah, your uncle, Alan.
Oh, okay, very good. Carry on. I'm making sure it wasn't the other uncle, the dead one.
Yeah,
okay.
that'd be weird.
Yeah, well,
that's a different adventure.
Hudson and Brand.
Yeah. Yep. And so Alan will be there in the lobby. It's like not even 7 o'clock in the morning yet. He's got a glass of brandy in his hand, and he's already puffing away on one of your more expensive cigars.
All right.
Oh,
Reuben.
Reuben.
Yes.
I saw it. I saw it outside my apartment last night, outside my shop. It was skulking in one of the alleys and spying on my place. I'm sure of it. It's probably waiting for me to step outside. I didn't dare leave. I haven't slept a wink. I waited until the sun started to rise. When I didn't see it there, I made a break for it and grabbed a cab right away and came to tell you.
What on earth did you see?
It was, I think it was a werewolf.
Well, of course it was a werewolf. What?
It was big. I could tell it had a large head with a protruding snout and pointed ears on the top. I couldn't see any detail. It was in the shadows, but it must be after me. I must be next. It must be that thing, the same thing that killed John and Sergeant Major Crouch before him, and maybe it did Orland after all. I don't know.
Very curious. Well, here, Here, Uncle, come to my room and get some rest. Markham will watch over you, and we'll go check out your property.
I'm strolling out. What's going on?
Uncle saw a werewolf, and we're going to go investigate.
A werewolf.
And about this time, the others will arrive back at the house. Gerard and Wilhelm and Loyal. They're just walking in the door.
Oh, good morning, everyone.
I just had a thought.
Really?
Sorry. Yes, as you were walking through the door. Reuben, what rank was your uncle?
Just a sergeant.
Yeah, I do believe he was a sergeant. Yeah.
Oh, anyways, there goes my theory.
He's standing right next to you. I'm right here, you know.
Oh, I didn't realize. I thought he had gone and put him in the room. I'm sorry. Oh, forgive me, Ellen.
So what did you find about the Egyptian?
Did you not hear, sir? A werewolf stalked my apartment last night.
A werewolf stalked your apartment?
Oh, hold on. Uncle is going to bed right now because he's...
Well, no. No.
Please, Markham, another brandy. Please, I can't sleep like this. He's puffing furiously against the guy.
Can you describe this werewolf?
I've already described it. It was massive. It had a large head with a protruding snout and pointed ears. I couldn't see much detail. It was encased in shadow in the alley outside of my home and shop.
Reuben will leave this...
Werewolves in Piccadilly Circus. Can you believe it?
Reuben's going to leave the drama to go get some breakfast.
Can you tell us Can you tell us exactly? Take a moment, take some water, and tell us exactly what happened.
A moment, he says. I need a brandy, not a moment.
Get the man a brandy.
We'll get you a brandy to calm your nerves. But
Markham comes over and refills his glass.
We need to know the
generously.
Details. We need to know the details. When did this happen? What?
I noticed it last night. Must have been about midnight.
Around midnight. Okay.
Yes.
What was this? What was this werewolf doing?
It was just skulking in the alleyway. I think on the positioning of it, I think it was looking up at my window. I think it might have seen me.
And it didn't bother to come in and attack you or anything, of course.
No. Maybe he was waiting for me to come aside.
That's possible.
Has he seen...
Holy God! Who is this man? He says, looking over at Loyal, who has just walked in. He was the last one to come in.
He's an associate. I think Gerard may be right about his theory that the creature, or whatever it may be, for some reason must wait till the victims come outside.
I've never seen a man so large. You could fight a werewolf barehanded, sir.
Indeed.
Is there a shortage of brandy in France or something that I'm not aware of? Please, Markham, refill this glass. Markham just kind of walks over and pours on a third large brandy.
I reach out to Markham for the bottle and just hold it and sit next to Alan.
What happened with the Egyptian man?
What Egyptian man? I didn't see an Egyptian man. It was a werewolf, I told you.
Not you, Alan. I'm talking to Oscar. Oscar.
Yes,
yeah, Reuben is gone. Reuben is gone to the kitchen.
Well, we went to the hotel. We saw him arrive, and he never left for the rest of the evening. Although we did hang out. We did spend some time in the lounge, seeing if he would step out from the hotel, but he never did. Before we left, I bribed the desk clerk to let us know a little more information about him and found out that this gentleman apparently works for the Egyptian Museum in Cairo.
Did you go into his room?
Oh, gosh, no. He was there, as far as we knew.
Oh, he was in the room the whole time.
Yes, we saw him arrive, and he never left.
I think I've been a fool.
Oh?
Yes. Well, we found absolutely nothing in the Colonel's house.
I had a theory when you mentioned, as you were walking through the door, that whoever was doing this was working their way up the chain of command, but...
No, I believe that, but I have a different theory now. I believe in my attempt to save someone. We were actually protecting the problem, perhaps.
Oh, did you see werewolves at the estate?
No, and that's the problem, and that's what's been bothering me. You had a colonel, a man who's used to tactics, a man who was in the military, and we were able to sneak onto his estate with very little problems. He's rich enough he could afford dogs or guards or something, and the only thing he had was a butler with a shotgun inside. He seemed to be very secure that no one was coming, even though he was quite aware that his army mates were being killed off one by one, and he acted as though, I mean, by not seeing this and the lack of concern, and based on what his wife had said, he knows something. But he doesn't seem to be worried that this brooding hawk was going to come and get him, at least not in any significant way. And then we have the Egyptian. Then we have the Egyptian who continues to try to visit him. I believe the Egyptian is trying to get something from him. I don't know what.
Ellen, what was your... I'm sorry, I don't think I was privy to this conversation, but what was your impression of the colonel? Was he a fair man? Did you not liked by the men?
Oh, this is really good brandy. The colonel. Oh, yes, Fearless Nick. Yes, he's...
Fingerless?
Fearless.
Fearless,
Did I stutter?
Well, no, I'm just deaf, so I didn't hear you.
He's a hard man, but he's a good leader.
Okay.
Yes, he could be a bit of a bastard at times, but that's exactly the kind of man that's needed to lead other men into war, don't you think?
Well,
when he says that, I look at him.
So
he's
already like half drunk.
I take the bottle out of his
and he's
hand.
holding out his glass for.
I take the glass out of his hand. I say, Alan, just repeat what you said again.
I said he was a bit of a bastard at times, but that's exactly the kind of man that's needed to lead other men into war.
What did he do that make you believe he's a bastard? What did your unit do?
My unit, we fought the Mahdi. We fought lots of bastards from the Sudan and Egypt and Afghanistan. Fought them all.
Tell me about Egypt.
Yes, well, Egypt. Mostly we were there reinforcing the Egyptians. We were there to help them fight against the Mahdi in Sudan.
Why did you say the colonel was a tough man?
Because he is a tough man.
What makes you believe that? Tell me about Egypt.
Because he'd do whatever it takes to get his men to accomplish the job and to get his men back safely, if possible.
Okay, now you got to remember, Zorn only has 34 sanity.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, he grabs Alan by the collar and lifts him up out of the chair. And go, men are dying, and you and the colonel know something. And I swear to God, Alan, I'll swear to God, Alan, if I
roll a dodge roll,
get it out of you.
Roll a dodge.
Oh. 22, and I am let's see, I haven't had to dodge in a while. 22 out of 30.
Yeah. Okay, you managed to move just as he throws up violently, right there where you were standing a moment ago.
Alan.
Good Lord.
Why is the colonel a tough man? What did he do?
Mr. Van Zorn, what is the purpose about badgering this man?
Because he used the word a tough man for his leader.
I would imagine any military officer worth his salt would be considered a tough man.
No. When you use that term, there's usually an incident that requires you to say that. He just also said he would do anything to get his men back. We have a man from Egypt trying to speak to him. We have people of his unit dying. And from what we can tell, may have something to do with this Egyptian. Someone had a vengeance against his unit, and the only one who doesn't seem to be too worried about it is the colonel. Alan, you know something. You're here.
I don't know anything, and he's crying now.
Reuben returns with his sandwich in hand,
You see your uncle there kneeling over a pile of his own vomit.
Are you done berating my uncle?
No, not even close.
I told you I don't know anything. I don't know what you're after. What is wrong with this man?
Alan, we're trying to save your life. Whatever is going through your unit eventually is going to get to you. You've seen it last night. But it doesn't seem to be attacking the Colonel, and I want to know why.
I don't know why. If I knew why, I wouldn't need you. I have to go open my shop. He stands up, wiping the vomit off of his face.
Alan.
No. Ruben's going to take him to his room.
Thank you for the brandy, Markham, he says. And Markham is coming in with the proper tools to clean up the vomit on the parlor floor.
Come on, Uncle. I'll take you to your room. And he's going to take him upstairs.
No, I have to open the shop.
I will open the shop. Come along.
You don't know the first thing about tailoring.
I do know that you need to get some sleep.
Okay, are you charming him, persuading him, or intimidating him?
Yes. Well, he's got 3 brandies in him. He's already sobbing and nauseous. So
yeah, I'll give you a bonus die.
I'm going to go with the commiserating young.
Those
nephew.
brandies were doubles or triples, by the way. So
right. So he's had 6 brandies. Okay.
At least, yeah. In about 10 minutes. Okay.
Yeah, he's going to take him to his room. Put him down to sleep.
Okay. I think you succeeded on your roll.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Yeah, he'll go to one of the guest rooms. What's your luck, Merrick?
No, I'm gonna put him in mine. I'll put him in my room.
Mine is 70.
Okay. Oh, okay, never mind. He puts him in his own. Okay, cool. Never mind. Okay.
Whenever Ruben comes down, I'd like to take him aside and talk to him for a second.
Well, I was going to say at this point, I think that's a good spot to call it for the night.
Fine.
We will pick this up again in 2 weeks' time. The clocks have just changed here in Ireland, so we'll be back to normal times again since we're no longer on separate daylight savings time issues. I believe anyway. It's 2 a.m., 2:20 a.m. here now, so that's where
normal's a relative.
So so it is Sunday morning about 7 a.m. Alan is passed out drunk. And
when he gets back down, he's definitely going to have some words. Why on earth would you interrogate somebody and feed them brandy at the same time?
I'm a little shocked at Ruben or Van Zoren as well.
Well, we can discuss that after I stop the broadcast. But thanks for playing, guys. Thanks for watching. Everybody watched, and we'll pick this back up in 2 weeks' time.